the Lord of the Rings movies are must-sees, and they're still extremely fun and extremely good to watch even now.
Lord of the Rings is medieval 2.5 Men, don't at me.
I think at least part of your soul may have just been damned for that comment, but it was worth it. I think you may have fucked yourself on that one.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 75 of the Thought Patrol podcast. We are back. I have fixed the mic issue. Turns out, when I was attaching it to the boom, the bitch had its gain turned up. So I was recording everything in a 6-mile vicinity. The small boy getting murdered across the street. The 2 dogs fucking in the backyard. And all sorts of things of that ilk were being picked up by the microphone. So that's why the last episode sounded so doo-doo. Apologize for that. You know, Brett, they say you learn, you don't learn. 75 episodes in, I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But that's a good sign. Kind of. So, but we are back. Holy shit. This week, we have a few things we're going to be doing. We have, what was I going to say? Holy shit. Oh, we're good. Game of the Year. Game of the Year is right around the corner. The Game Awards, the mythical Game Awards. The ones that disappointed the shit out of me last year. They're back. We're going to be talking a little bit about that. We have some nominees to go through. See what we think's going to do the best. Cough, cough. Mainly God of War and Red Dead, depending on what your niche is. Some people saying Red Dead, some people saying God of War. But yeah, we're going to go through those, make our predictions, and then I want to mark them down. And then when the Game Awards does happen, we will reflect upon our decisions. So that's what we'll be doing today. We also have everything else that we'll be doing. I'm excited. Let's get right into it. Let's start with everyone's week. Shawn, how have you been? My beautiful bastard of a friend.
Oh boy. How have you been? I don't really. Last week was a giant dumpster fire. This week I am excited because I will be reviewing on the next podcast the Apocalypse edition of Darksiders, which we will not discuss how much I paid for it. If it matters that much, you can look online and then make me feel like shit in Discord.
I wish we could do like an unboxing. Wouldn't that be so dope? Like an unboxing video of the collector's edition. But
considering I collect collector's editions, it would work really well. And there's that some of the independent game reprinters and reproducers that I've been emailing back and forth with, that I'm trying to get to come on board to let us discuss some of their products. I was really trying to get them to send me a special anniversary edition of Rondo of Blood for the TurboGrafx 16, the PC Engine. Okay. And they had a special package for it and everything. I couldn't afford it on its own. It was like $100-something.
Damn.
There's a website where you can send to get a free disc, and they'll just send you a copy of it. It's legal, but they'll send you a copy of it just to be able to play on your PC Engine. But I wanted it because of the stuff that it comes with. The thing is I'm not willing. I think that our content is quality, but we also carry an adult tinge to what let's not call it a tinge. Let's be honest here. This is a very adult
flavor.
show.
It's more of a flavor than a tinge at this point.
Flavored.
Yeah, we're adult flavored. Yeah, adult
flavored. Yeah. So that may not be
a little hint of semen,
and I understand that. That's fine. But I've considered filming it and then sending it to you so you can upload it, because there's no fucking way I'm going to be uploaded from this connection. It'll take a week.
Yeah, how are you going to send it to
me? Yeah, that's the thing. I've pretty much given up on that idea.
SD card in the mail.
Review the package. That's not a bad idea. I've considered that, like buying a shitty thumb drive and putting it on there.
Yeah, just mail it to me.
But yeah, I'll be picking that up tomorrow. The box is taller than I am.
Damn.
And it comes with it's fairly massive. And I've been paying on it for over half a year.
Bro,
Ever since they advertised it.
Speaking of like absurd collector's editions, when I went to go pick up Pokemon, so I actually went to GameStop to do it, a place I haven't stepped foot in such a long time. Well, I guess it doesn't, not necessarily, I guess I did go for Spider-Man. So, but before that, a long time. But they had this gigantic box on the floor, like the size of like a fucking trunk that you would put stuff in, and it was the collector's edition for the second Lord of the Rings game. I don't know, but it was like fucking huge, and I had no idea what was inside of it. But I'm like, damn. I'm like, what is that? She's like, it's a collector's edition for blah, 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 blah. I'm like, holy shit. Let me have my Pokemon. I heard about
that game, but I never saw any media on it. Like, I never saw any advertisements. I never saw anything to booster it. I have no fucking idea what it was like. The movie tie-ins they created were really... Well, let me rephrase. The voice acting, the music, the set pieces of the movie tie-ins, and the fighting engine of the movie tie-ins for the three films, the first three films, the actual Lord of the Rings series, were brilliant. The games themselves were a bit repetitive after a time, and after a few playthroughs, it's not fresh anymore at all. Like, for some reason, even such an interesting fighting engine, where there's specific moves for specific races, there's specific counters, it really functions very strategically. In terms of how you fight, button mashing will get you killed. You have to think your way through combat and how many enemies there are, and so on. And then the second and third games both had co-op, which made them really good. But ever since then, the only one I've touched since then was that fictional one. Like, it was kind of a what if, and it's a new party of characters, and I only played like an hour's worth of it. It didn't blow me away.
All right, I'm so fucking lost right now. How long ago these games come out? The ones that you're referring to?
Those games came out when the movies came out, but the one I'm thinking of, the last one I played was like 4 or 5 years after the last movie release, but before The Hobbit came out. It was released on PlayStation 3, I want to say, possibly PlayStation 2. And it was right about the time they had started discussing making an MMO, and I think they had just
have an MMO?
out with a real-time strategy one. Yeah, they do now, or they did.
I played maybe.
They were talking about like an RTS, but they hadn't made it yet, and that's when this other one came out. But it was basically, I don't know, it wasn't terribly good.
I played like 15
but
minutes.
Anyway, my last week was garbage. I did get to spend a little bit of Thanksgiving time with my daughter. So since we celebrated Thanksgiving on Sunday, because the whole family wasn't going to be able to be together, well, what's left of us anyway, on Sunday or on Thursday, we ate Thanksgiving on Sunday. And then when the Thanksgiving rolled around, there's only two strict traditions that my daughter and I observe on Thanksgiving. And the first one is that we always watch the parade, always. So we watched that on YouTube.
Did you see the
And while we were doing that, yeah, I saw that.
Fuck yeah, bro. I saw a tweet, and it was Funimation, and they were like, basically like, prepare for the ultimate showdown or some shit, and it shows the Charlie Brown balloon and the Goku balloon like facing off towards each other.
Yeah, that meme.
Oh, jeez.
It was a tight balloon, man, and they had them all really low because of the wind chill. It was also the coldest one they've ever had. It was 19 degrees or 15 degrees, something like that when I tuned in.
That's crazy.
But we watched it, the whole thing, and then for kicks, I went on YouTube and I found the 1998 Thanksgiving Day parade that occurred when my daughter was born, and we watched that, and it was funny because Martina McBride was in this year's parade, and she was in that one, so you got to see her, and then see her like
time jump,
20 years ago, and she looks the same. Thank God, plastic surgery, right? But yeah, it was kind of bizarre watching it, and there's a bunch of balloons that they retire for a period and then bring back, or they permanently retire, like the ones that I remember, like Garfield, and I remember when they first brought out like the Barney balloons and shit like that. There's a bunch of them that aren't in the parade anymore. Most of the ones that we saw are new as of the turn of the century, because we're 21st century now, folks. Woohoo! Laser guns and jet cars.
Yeah, where
Jetsons,
the fuck are
baby.
my shoes that tie themselves and my hoverboards? Come on now.
Yeah, and the
I've been
jacket
lied
that
to.
dries you off after the rain. Yeah,
Exactly.
we totally deceived, man. Totally deceived.
But you know what?
But
We
outside of
better
that, man,
by
we
2077.
watched the 2 parades.
We better
And we
shit
have
by
a tradition
2077.
which I suggest that all of you consider doing. And the tradition is we don't start doing anything Christmassy until after Thanksgiving is passed. And the very first Christmas movie that we watch every year, without fail, since she was born, has been the movie Scrooged, which is a retelling of A Christmas Carol with Bill Murray. And it's this real classic, iconic comedy. And we usually watch it either Thursday night, or if Thursday night's hectic, we'll watch it on Friday.
Wait, real quick.
Since she wasn't,
You said you don't do anything Christmassy until Thanksgiving is passed?
until Thanksgiving dinner has passed.
Okay, because I heard Christmas, and I was going to say it makes no sense, but I might have misheard it.
No, we don't do anything Christmassy. Like we don't watch any Christmas movies. We don't talk
decorate.
about Christmas stuff.
Okay.
No, the beginning of our Christmas season starts after Thanksgiving dinner is over. Now, if that usually happens around between 5 and 7. So we will watch the 2 parades, and around 3:00, I put on Scrooged, and that was the beginning of our Christmas season. Was watching Scrooged.
Nice.
So we watched that, and then we dicked around on YouTube and watched some old Oni cartoons and stuff, and then she went her own way. That was the highlight of my week. I worked all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, all day today, and I'm going to be working a lot to try and make a little bit extra scratch, not only just for Christmas, but also for a vehicle and computer and a place of my own. And I am, if my kid can get her shit in shape to where she can handle school better than she has been, like I've considered moving down there in your area so we can do stuff.
Oh shit, dude. I've already started construction on the shack where we will house you with all the amenities that you need. Running water. Area for the dogs.
Warm water, dogs, a little bit of electricity, and I don't like the cold.
We're just building it on top of our house, so we've started a foundation on the roof, right? And it goes up, and then basically what it is there's an elevator smack dab in the middle of the house where we have the main bathroom, and you sit down and you flush the toilet twice, and then it goes up, like almost like a James Bond movie. The toilet goes up and takes you in to the second house above, like through this tube. And it just sucks you in through the tube. Also, more akin to like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And then once you're up there, you're free to do whatever. But I'd be careful about letting the dogs out because you don't want a dog yeeting himself off the roof because then we have problems. But it's already been cleared with the city.
Dogs don't leave without leashing, so we're safe there.
Yeah, there you go. Go walk your.
Yeah.
We'll build the whole grass area up there so you can walk the dog.
Why do I feel like it's more like a human zoo than a place for me to live? Like, look at the strange nerd. Look at him move around with his pets and his Robotech dolls. It's amazing. Look as he watches his anime and masturbates. We've never seen anything like it. And then a Steve Irwin fucking guy comes in. He's like, watch as I sneak up on the wild geek, stick my thumb up its ass, and really piss it off. Crikey. It's beautiful in its natural habitat.
We'll give you a dome. Kids will throw food at you. You'll be good to go. Yeah.
You'll have a little cracker machine. They can put in like 25 cents, and out comes like gummy bears.
Yeah.
Actually, that sounds pretty good. I'm down.
Yeah, dude.
People fucking.
Construction should be complete by 2022. We'll be good to go.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm glad I'm glad you had a decent week.
How was your week?
My week was good. Been kind of settling into my new job, so scheduling time is still kind of fucked. And as of right now, I think they're trying to make me a closer, where every day I close, which isn't too awful as long as it's not on important days like Sunday. And this week it was on a Sunday, so we're still trying to iron that out, make sure it doesn't interfere too much with other things that we do here. But for the most part, I mean, it's work. Sunday, or not Sunday, but closing's not too bad. You'd be surprised, though, how many people want a fucking Subway sandwich, like, from 8:30 to, like, 11:30 at night. Like, I've had so many people from all walks of life come in asking for a sandwich, and at that point, you're by yourself as a closer. So if some people are coming in asking for shit and you have a whole checklist of other things you're trying to do to make sure the store is good for the next day, and then on top of this, you have people asking for God knows what, like, it's crazy stuff. So it can be a little hectic if you're not staying on top of everything, but for the most part, it's not that bad. It's pretty chill. And if I keep on top, I could kind of get home between 12:30 and 1. If it's super busy, it might be maybe later to like 1:30 in the morning. So it's something I haven't done before, besides the fact that it's dealing with food. That's the only new part of it, but I've closed stores before and done other shit like that, so it's not that bad. So that's okay. It's work. For video games, I've been really enjoying still Fallout 76, and then I don't know if I talked about it last week, but I started Pokemon. And I'm pretty sure I did. And I've been playing Pokemon off and on, really enjoying both those games a lot. Especially with all the vitriol, like the pure hate that Fallout 76 is getting with it being in its current condition. Although I still find a lot of enjoyment out of the game, because a lot of what I've come to Fallout for is exploration, and that I think is done incredibly well in 76. I think the exploration and the story development in the world, I think, is very strong. Like, you stumble across an area, there's notes laid about things, little details here and there that slowly open up the story of what happened here, what's going on. And I think uncovering those stories and the things that were laid out for you and finding those breadcrumbs to unveil things, I think is a super cool thing to do. And I think the gameplay loop as well isn't too bad. Looting and upgrading and modifying your weapons, gathering materials, and then I started recently collecting actual power armor because I wasn't using it before. So just kind of slowly grinding things out, trying to get better gear and stuff like that. Right now I think I'm level 64, I think. And there's kind of a soft cap at 50 because you can no longer put special points into anything. And then from there, I don't even know if there is a limit. I saw a dude that was 118. So I don't know how high it goes after that. And then pretty much every 5 levels, you get a perk card pack that gives you 5 perk cards. And then every level, you're still able to select a perk for one of your special stats. But at that point, you can't put any more points into the special stats. And my dumbass, I didn't know that they go to 15 now, because in normal Fallout games, they go to 10. So I was getting everything to 10 and then moving on. And then here I am now screwed because I've run out of special points. I mean, I have a lot more skills at 10, so I could invest in different things. But now I don't have a single thing at 15. So if there's something that is like intelligence is important if you do modifying and stuff like that, I only have 10 intelligence points. I can't fully deck things out. A good thing, though, is for the most part, you can swap cards out whenever you want. So what I do for like lock picking and the hacking stuff, if I find something, I just go into the menu, swap the cards out, and then hack, and then take the cards off, and then use whatever, like, the more passive things that I need, like reducing armor degradation, speed, and shit like that. And I could just swap between them. So that it's not too bad. It's manageable. But so far, I'm enjoying the changes to the formula. Although I wouldn't want to see this in the next Fallout game, obviously. But I like this side project. I think what they did is acceptable, at least. Like, I don't think it's awful. I think it's a good game. It may not be a good Fallout game, but I think it's a good game overall. And I've had a shitload of fun with it, playing with other people. We've played with people from the community and just kind of hanging out. And I've been enjoying that a lot. Now, on the other hand, Pokemon, I think, has done a lot to both step away from the main franchise, but also maintain the identity of Pokemon too. I think for the most part, besides a few things here and there, it is still a Pokemon game through and through. Might be a little bit more casual friendly, but it still has the feel of Pokemon. It still is gorgeous. There's like cutscenes. It's everything about it is awesome, and it's so much fun. It's super nostalgic being back in Gen 1. So stuff when I was a kid. It feels a lot like the original anime, and like sitting down trying to catch them all or going on this adventure with your Pokemon. It captures that super well, and it's amazingly fun to play. It's just one of those games that you sit down and there's no stress to anything. The whole time you're just elated as you play it because you're super excited to be in this world and enjoying it. And it's fucking awesome. I really enjoy it. It's got me also really excited for the next Pokemon game whenever we get that. Should be sometime in 2019 from what I understand, although I'm not too sure. But it's really fun. It is super fun, and swapping between those two in the time that I do have to play, I've been enjoying it quite a lot. We also recently started on stream a game called Crosscode, and I sent you a trailer for it, Shawn. This game is fucking awesome, dude. Like, it is really good. It came out November 20th, so it was like 6 days ago as the time of recording this. And it is really cool, Shawn. Like it kind of reminds me, it's weird, it kind of reminds me of SAO, but one of the things that it does is the setting of it, the game is it's an MMO. And the thing is, it's not a virtual world like VR or AR or anything like that. It's an actual island that exists on the planet, and people connect to avatars. So they're like forms of mass that you connect your conscience to. And then the avatars go to this island, and that's where the game takes place. And then between the avatars' interactions with each other, and then there's a game system that revolves around the island. That's how you play the MMO. So it feels real, but you're not actually in your body. You're in a fabricated body. It's really interesting.
It's like Greed Island, but without the con job.
Yeah, and
remember how in Hunter x Hunter they were supposed to think that they were transported into a game, but in reality they were just fucking flown there or some shit.
Yeah. So super cool.
I've seen a few stories that take place around a concept like that. That sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, the music in this game's awesome. It's got very nice animation, and it's all pretty much 16-bit graphic ID. That like the styles like 16-bit graphics. Again, the animation's awesome. Music's fantastic. The fighting is really good. It's like an action. It's not turn-based RPG. It's like an action RPG where enemies spawn. They all have health bars. You get combos. The skill system in this game is super diverse. Like, I'm in one branch, and it's basically a diamond, and it goes in 4 ways, and they all have skills that represent whatever that branch belongs to, like max HP, defense, luck, or attack. And then that diamond branches into another like 7 or 8 diamonds that all have more skills in that regard. I probably played about like 7 or 8 hours of this game, and I'm not even at the end of one of my branches. I'm like level 15. So I have a feeling this game's going to last a long time. But so far, the writing's really good. Characters are super cool. It's got like a quirky feel to it. Your character, when you first connect to them, there's like this group of the government, from what I understand, or a group of whatever created this game, and they have some cases where people connect avatars and they lose their memory, and you're one of those special cases. Now it's like one of these like 1 in a million shot chances thing, and they manage the game for the most part, but there's a special subsect that deals with this, and they find you when you've lost your memory. You're connected to your avatar, you have no idea who you were or anything like that, and you're just kind of this blank slate. And they have
Dot Hack and Log Horizon had a baby,
and they have like this really cool, like the idea is that your voice module is fucked up. So when your character converses, as they start out, they can't say anything. So it's mostly nods or gestures. But as the game progresses, the dude that's helping you as you play the game, he's actively unlocking more words for your character to use. Now, it doesn't affect gameplay. You don't get to actually pick the words. But it's just like your character's kind of getting more and more capable of interacting with the people around them. And they make nods at it because there's NPCs in the game, which are other like things that they're not avatars. They're just other collections of whatever. They call it like instant matter or some shit. Other collections of that stuff. And then, but they have like, they have scripted responses. So you sit there not saying anything, all heroic and shit, and they'll look at you for half a second and then just continue with their script because they don't know what to do because they're just NPCs. So the game has this like almost like a self-aware MMO kind of thing, kind of poking fun of itself. Super awesome. Really enjoying it to death. It's awesome. I don't know. It's just like I haven't been able to find anything. The pacing is good. The fighting is fun and enjoyable. And I'm just excited to play it more and more. The one thing that sucks is I did it on stream, so now if I play it off stream, then we'd miss things and stuff like that. So I have to pretty much stick to streaming the game and finishing it that way. But I'm just looking so forward to getting back to it. It's really awesome. And if you guys have a PC, Mac out there, it is on Steam. Feel free to check it out. It's called Crosscode, and it's by a dev group I think they're called Radical Fish. I have no idea, but really
that answers my question.
Really awesome game. I know
I have our game review too.
They also they have plans to bring it to console and Switch. So, but it just came out like 6 days ago. So I think those plans are like mid to late 2019, from what I understand right now. I don't know exactly, but definitely keep an eye out for that if you do not have a PC. I recommend that. But besides that, that was my week. Excited to get back to 76, grind that more, get back to Pokemon, and then finally get back to Crosscode. All awesome games. What's your game review, Shawn? What you got?
I bought Spyro.
Oh, shit.
Reignited or whatnot, and everybody's got classic memories of that kids game series, and I don't expect it to be any different. I did not expect it to be any different. I expected it to be fairly simplified and just a fun little jaunt. But I expected to find the kids game again and it be what it is. There's been a lot of reviews online where people are like, it didn't hold up, it didn't age well, it's pretty, but it's so basic. My daughter really loves it, but I found myself getting bored. I don't really dig collectathons. As soon as I said that, I had this imaginative thing happening in my head where Banjo-Kazooie showed up and punched the cunt in the face for saying that. But long story in the short is, after they released that press release saying that there would only be one game on the disc, everyone flipped a switch. And then the news started traveling around a few weeks later that they were going to put all 3 games on one disc because it's predatory business practice. It's cheap as fuck to steal games from somebody and sit there and tell them that they have to download them, especially considering most people don't have the best connections in the world anyway. So when the news started circulating that they had said they were going to put all 3 games on the disc, everyone rejoiced. Activision was forgiven. That was a mistake. On average, a PS4 Blu-ray holds 40 gigs. If I recall, I think it was 40 gigs.
I could Google it. Let's see.
I had it memorized. It was either 40 or 80. They're actually switching it up so that they'll hold a terabyte, but I think right now it's either 40 or 80. All 3 games take up about 30 gigs, I think. Yeah, about 30 gigs. And the disc holds like another 20 gigs at least, a PlayStation Blu-ray, right? They still only put 1 game on there. Activision lied. They knew, and there were repeated articles out there about the fact that it was going to have all 3 games. Activision never once came out and said this is wrong, it's only going to have 1 game. They just never said anything and allowed everyone to have the wrong idea. So I bought the Reignited trilogy, and what I actually bought was 1 game, which I cannot play without the other 2 being downloaded, and a patch that automatically includes the other 2, which is a 19 gigabyte patch. My PlayStation has been downloading for 2 days. So if you were out there and you were thinking about getting Spyro the Reignited trilogy, I strongly suggest you instead download the old, slightly uglier games from PSN and play those, and fuck Activision. I will say that the game's only $40. They're not charging full price for it, which is fair. But I strongly suggest that everyone that is out there that wanted to get it to add their collections, just to have a little jaunt down memory lane, enjoy some simple and fun platforming, wait until Medieval 1 and 2 are released in a remaster, buy that instead, and just play the original Spyros. Don't give Activision any money you don't have to. You can play the original ones for a handful of bucks each. This trilogy was not worth it, because in the future, when I go to turn on my system and I go to reinstall the fucking game to play it again, I'm not going to be able to. I bought a dead disc, and that fucking infuriates me. So it's not all 3 games. All 3 games are not on that disc. It's 10 or 11 gigabytes of data is actually on a 60 or 80 gigabyte disc. I don't fucking remember how much it is, but I know that they more than had enough room to put all 3 games in all their glory with all of the content they wanted to. They could have even put a director's fucking commentary on there if they wanted to. It had massive amounts of space left, and they opted not to because Activision. So the ruling is the new game is pretty. I have watched a lot of video on it. I played a demo of it that they had at the mall in a little demonstration booth. It was very nice. It played very smoothly. It's exactly like it was before, just prettier. And they re-recorded all the voice acting. It is what you think it will be, but do not give Activision your money. It's a fucking ripoff. Just buy the originals. And I'm done. Fuck all those guys.
So from my research, the PS4 I think is limited to only reading dual layer Blu-ray discs, which caps out at 50 gigs.
There we go, 50, yeah.
Yeah.
And the games are 30 and change.
Yeah. It also
they're about 10 gigs a piece.
It also comes down a lot to like compression rates and shit like that, because a lot of times when you're downloading something, it depends on what it is. You download a more compressed version, it gets unpackaged, and then you have the data there, and then you're good to go. But that's not an excuse. It actually being the opposite. That's more of a burn as to why the fuck they couldn't fit all the games on the disc, and it's just laziness at this point.
Yeah. So it went all night last night. I downloaded a gig. I have 19.692 gigabytes total. So fuck Activision. They lied to us, and even if you want to say it's just we assumed otherwise, because the media was reporting it, Activision had the responsibility to its consumers to make sure it was correct. We've seen time and time again where even scumbags like fucking EA will step out and go, no, that's not how it is. This is how the game works. This is not true. We wish it was, but it's not. Blah, blah, blah. Give us your money. It's not true. It actually is this way that you don't want it to be. The Activision could have easily done that. They did not. And I did spend like 3 hours pouring through articles on Google to see if they did, to see if they went to go back against the articles that were saying, nope, it's going to be all 3 on one disc. They wanted to take some extra time to polish up the third game, to get it finished. It has about 2 weeks left before it's finished, and they wanted to put all 3 on the disc since the fan outcry, and they did not. So if you live in a rural area, if you don't have a great internet connection, if you were hoping to outright own all 3 games on hard copy, good luck, because that's not what they sold us.
Okay.
Shawn's angry.
And the audience goes, what else is new?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm glad that you're doing good, Shawn. Let's quickly go over some housekeeping real quick. Let you guys know what's going on around here. We do Twitch streaming, as I said before, a couple times a week. It's not a hard schedule, but usually it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Now, those days are subject to change, especially as we kind of iron out everything going on with my schedule. Those days will change. If you want to stay up to date with stuff like that, feel free to follow us on Discord, on Twitter, at ThoughtPatrolPD. I'm pretty sure that's how you find us. At ThoughtPatrolPD. I don't use Twitter that much. Facebook, Thought Patrol Podcast over there. And I always put out an announcement when we go live. So if any of those ways are ways that you use to get information from people that you follow, blah, 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 that's the best way to do it. I'll put out when we do go live, and hopefully we can see you guys there. Also, if
I will try and stop by a little bit more in the evenings than I have been in the past few months too. I have been a negligent parent.
We got to have Grandpa Shawn managing the chat. speaking with people. What was I going to say? Also, if we speak about anything, what's your favorite game of the year? What do you think is going to win Game of the Year? Things like that. Feel free to drop a comment down below if you are listening on YouTube or on your respective podcasting service if they allow that. Also, while you're there, feel free to subscribe. This podcast does come out every Tuesday at 8 a.m. We also finally have a sister Facebook page called The Streaming Geek, where there are reviews that get put up for anime, other like nerd culture, things like that. You could find that over there. And those also, the other services like Facebook, stuff like that, you will get, if something comes up, you'll hear about it some way. I think the best way, if you do want to keep up with everything that we do, Discord is one of the best ways of doing that. You could also converse with the community while you're there, and also converse with the hosts as well. Finally, iTunes reviews. If you really like us, you want to help us out, help us show up more on iTunes and things like that, feel free to drop a review. Give us what you think we deserve. We'd love to hear some feedback from you guys. Just let us know how we're doing, and we'd love to hear that. Okay, all that out of the way. Mailbag.
We do have a new review up on Streaming Geek, by the way, for rewrited Derida Who Leaps Through Time. We just put that up yesterday.
Okay, sounds good. I have no idea what you just said, but I'll take your word.
It's a show called Rewrite D.
Okay.
Rewrite D, and and then it has a sub title called Derida Who Rides Through Time. It's the fucking god awful show.
What a weird name.
I talked to you about it, man. When it started out, I was psyched.
I remember.
Like I was for
You're like, holy shit! It's like a movie.
Yeah, the music was really good. The direction was tight. The mystery was thick. The animation was good. It wasn't the best, but it was really good and solid. It was expressive. Like everything, the frames per second that they used in the animation, it was fairly good, man. And it felt like an anime movie. There was a massively well done score. It was impressive, and I was really excited. And then right about the time it hit the third act, and I realized we still didn't know anything, I started to go, oh shit, it's going to be one of those. And then when the last episode played, and right when that last episode was kicking, I'm like, I still have no fucking idea what's going on. Like, I have no idea. Like, nothing has been explained to me. Like, they are still completely fucking, like, what the hell? And then they tried to resolve everything in the last 10 minutes of the last 20-some-odd minute episode. And it was a dumpster fire. But I encourage you to read about it so you can find exactly how bad that dumpster fire was. And then you can rejoice that I had to experience it instead of you.
There you go.
Because fuck that show.
Yeah. Shawn's the weeby martyr of this community.
Yeah. I'm like the angry video game nerd of fucking geek programs.
All right. So.
Only he makes a shitload more money than I do.
Yeah. We have a mailbag question from our boy Sam. So this one's interesting. We'll see what we can do to answer it. But when are the questions from Sam not interesting? Dear Thought Patrol, I need some advice. I'm an up-and-coming indie game developer, and
use the condom. Sorry.
Oh shit. Well, that's always good advice, kids. Listen to Papa Shawn. I'm a up-and-coming indie game developer, and my studio is planning out its newest project. I've met with the creative team, writers, and other staff, but we just can't seem to come to consensus on what kind of game we should make. So I want to ask you, if we were to develop a game that could stand out from all the other indie and AAA developers, how should we approach it? Use nostalgia as a way of drawing the audience in with pixel graphics or familiar gameplay, or use an abstract concept for mechanics along with a nuanced story to produce a unique experience? Which one of those would you buy as a consumer of games? Please give me your honest opinion, and I hope to hear from you soon. Sincerely, Weeb Studio 69 Games. And then their motto is "We are the sexy."
That's my favorite part.
All right, Shawn.
Oh wow, that was also my favorite part. 69 and "We are the sexy." That was like my two favorite things Sam has ever said.
Okay.
That sounded mean. That's not what I meant. I meant I like those. Those were witty.
It's
Include
okay.
more of that.
He thought our podcast would burn to the ground.
Yeah, well, the funny thing was, you're like, and we're always excited about what Sam has to say, and I almost jumped in with a punch, and then I was like, nah, I hit Sam too much as it is.
All right.
I want to be nice this time.
All right.
We love Sam. We do love Sam.
If we had to develop a video game, what way would we go about to diversify it from the absolute clusterfuck amount of games that we get every year? Now, as much
I think my approach would be different than most, to be honest.
Well, go ahead. What would that approach be?
Well, the approach that you and Hector take when you're attacking something like streaming or podcasting or topic stuff is you do the smart thing, and you attempt to go for things that are sellable, things that are topical and relevant, and then people are currently consuming to draw in part of that crowd, right? You both have had many discussions about how this works in this situation, that works in that situation. This is all something that I understand. But what I would do, and what I've seen a lot of really good underdogs do, at least, let me rephrase, what I've read that they do when they're interviewed about these games, is they do not look at anything that's out there at the moment. Like, if I was creating a game, I would completely shut off what is going on out there, and I would focus on what I wanted. Like, if it ended up abstract, it ended up abstract. If I went simple, it would be simple. But I'd focus on what I wanted, and I would do the absolute best to take that concept and bring it to the best of its fruition. And if it was a situation where I didn't care what I was going to make, I just wanted to make something, that I'd probably start with something moderately simple and perfect that, and then see what else I could do with it. But I don't think that I would have a specific goal in mind in terms of a simple platformer or a super complicated this, or let's shake the scene up and do something they haven't seen before. Like, I don't think that would really be my concern. My concern would be figuring out what kind of game I wanted to make in terms of what I wanted to play. Because when small studios are making games, I've never heard any of them go, well, what we wanted to do was create a game that would sell. That's obviously everyone's goal. But every single one of them is like, we wanted to make a game that we wanted to play. So I think my focus would be on creating something that was within my means. So I would say, logistically speaking, there's a good chance that I would veer a little bit away from trying to be overly creative, like venturing too far out into being different, because when you get too far out in that area and you don't have a lot of experience, you tend to choke. But I think maybe the best tact would be approach something that you can do and do it extremely well, but put your own twist on it. But outside of that, I would not be looking at what else is out there to see what I wanted to emulate or borrow from or beat, so to speak. I think I would try and find my own voice, and I'm not going to find that by looking at other voices. I don't think that answers your question very well, Sam, but that's kind of where I would come at it. I would blind myself to what else is out there and find what I want to create, which more than likely would be half simple and half complex, because that's kind of the way I function.
Okay. That kind of works. I mean, it answers it, I think, at least. I think I would go along those same lines, because I'm, as much as making money's a cool thing, right? I'd like to be like the Nier to the next generation, what Nier was to me kind of thing. Like, just a super solid experience that is something that overall impacted the person consuming the product like greatly, and to have people not even necessarily talking about it, but just for the people that have sat down to play it will like defend it with their life kind of thing, right? Because it had that impact on them. And I think I would like to stray towards something like that. So making something that would be kind of nuanced I don't know. Like, I would like to have that impact on someone. I don't want to just make like a Fortnite 2.0. Now, as cool as that would be to make as much money as Fortnite is making now and be the head of that, that'd be awesome. But I think when it comes down to it, I'd much rather have that hard connection with the consumer of the product, that like, holy shit, this is something that I will remember for a long time kind of thing. I'd like to make a game like that. Now, the ways I would go about making something like that, I don't necessarily know what I would hearken to, because Nier does have elements where it harkens to a slightly nostalgic vibe, just in a different scenario with the way that its gameplay functions and things like that. I don't think I would want to use nostalgia. I'd rather develop something not necessarily new, but again, nuanced. I like the idea of having a nuanced thing, because I like thinking of games of not only something to do to have fun, but its own interactive art medium. And I think there's a lot of games that, some of the games that do kind of go towards that side, and that element of the industry, I think really becomes something special in the eyes of the people that actually sit down to play them. And I'd like to be that game to a consumer. I think that'd be really cool. And this all goes back to, we talked about it before when we talked about like who we are, like the Thought Patrol podcast, that episode. I said that one of the biggest things that has made me enjoy video games so much is that connection, like the connection between the consumer and the creator, and understanding the world, the mechanics, the system that they put into play and work so hard on that you can enjoy. And although not saying that Fortnite or something like that doesn't have that, but I think with everything else going on in those games, that connection's kind of bogged down just by everything else happening. Where with like a solid single player experience that is kind of nuanced, I think you get more of that time to just sit there and kind of fully internalize what you're doing, what you're playing, what you're consuming, things like that. And I'd like to be that game to the next generation of consumers. I think that'd be super cool. And being able,
it's deep in that question. Make a guess as to what game you think I would create given this circumstance. What kind of game? And I will guess as to what kind of game I think you would create.
What? So I'd have to...
Yeah, like knowing what you know of me, if I had unlimited resources and I had the skills to make an independent game, what do you think would be what would come out of my head? And vice versa.
I don't know how true this would be, but I could see kind of something along the lines of obviously very story rich, a lot to take into aspect of building the world and making sure that jives well with the rest of the game, and kind of just making, and not necessarily an open world game, but a game that's deep in the idea of the lore and construction of it, but it's still like something along the lines of a linear experience. You'd make the next fucking Final Fantasy, bro. That's all. That's what I think. When I think of a game that you'd make, it'd be something along those lines. It doesn't necessarily have to be a turn-based game or anything like that, because you can have depth and strategy in other gameplay styles. But I can easily see it coming down to a game where there's a lot of attention to creating a living world, and then having that player kind of go through it, browse through it, do their thing, and have that also jive with the story. Also, of course, good characters and good writing in that form, and making it something that you can fully immerse yourself into. I could see something along those lines. Now, when it comes to gameplay, I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like that'd be a strong kind of motif with what you'd want to make in a game, kind of creating a world like that's tightly knit and wound together in a way that it always works. It's not like something that you can find fallacy in. It's stuff that you can always kind of take certain elements of and pick at it and still be able to pull something from that, like that kind of world. I see something along those lines. Now, when it comes to gameplay, I don't know though. Like, you could easily say turn-based, next Final Fantasy, but I don't know.
That's a massive. I don't know. I think you are correct. I would definitely put a huge amount of focus on the story and the world and making it a place that you want to visit. I think for the mechanics of the first game, I would probably venture somewhere into a a platforming RPG light.
Bro, I was thinking about platforming too. I'm like, I think this man would make a platformer.
Yeah, like it's easy to design a shitty platforming level. For starters, not saying that would be my goal, but I'm just saying platforming. There are games out there that are platformers where it's not the graphics or even the controls that hold them back. It's the terrible level design. There's a ton of platforming games out there that are like that. But when you play something like, say, Super Mario Brothers 3, or Rayman, especially the earlier levels in Rayman before it becomes like nut-bustingly difficult, games like those super sharp platformers, those things are legendary, and they're legendary because of how well they're designed. Well, maybe we should take Rayman out because those later levels are not designed well. They're fucking brutal. But if you look at Mario or even the first few Sonics, like the levels are designed extremely well, especially Sonic 3. That goes a long way into making one pleasant. But what I would do is I would take a cue from things like Cave Story and the Metroidvania classics like Symphony of the Night and Super Metroid, and some of the other ones that are love notes to them that came along later, but make the worlds much more massive and maybe insert some top-down levels as well, or some top-down areas just to kind of mix it up. And create one where there's an emphasis on exploration, discussions, making choices, and then make a tight battle system where it's not just hack and slash, but maybe there's instances where you need counters and returns and things like that. And I think that would be a fun project to get into. Make a beautiful world, but one that has really tight platforming, but also gives you some top-down adventuring, kind of balances between the Metroidvania and the Zelda exploration style. But I think that would be an approachable, but still way challenging enough to be difficult experience without me having to dive into the complexities of an RPG for my first project. Now, for you, I think in terms of style, I think your first project, if you did have the funds and accessibility to do it, I think you would create a spiritual successor to Mario Sunshine that blows Hat in Time away.
Bro, Hat in Time was so fucking good, though. I love that game so
really
much.
Short, and I don't think you would create a short experience. Mario Sunshine is by far not a short game. There's tons of stuff to do in that game. And especially if you're trying to complete it and get all the stars.
Yeah.
That's going to take you a little bit of time. And I think you would create larger levels. I think you would create much more detailed levels. Put a lot of nooks and crannies and Easter eggs in there, and shout outs to Granddaddy Mario. I think that you would put a deeper story in there, and I especially think that you would work very diligently to have a lot of world interactions so that you can see how the levels react to your behavior, because that is something that I've seen you get off on in every single game. Even small things like when you run past a pile of papers without touching the table and you see the papers move, you sit there and nut a little bit.
It's not a little bit. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
I think that would be something that would take the exploration action platformer to a whole new level, is the love you have for those attentions to detail. You'd make sure to put one of those light sourcing engines in there that would reflect the light that reflects off of other things. So if your character has a yellow t-shirt and you walk next to a white wall, you see a slight yellowishness on that wall, which is the light reflecting off of your shirt. Like things like that, you'd be paying attention to, and these are things that you don't normally see in Mario games, because Mario games have a tendency to be delightfully superficial. And I think that you would actually create a game where people would actually care about the world that they're platforming in, because you would have these living, breathing characters. I don't think you would take it too dark, because I think that type of game you have a tendency to enjoy, just like everyone, with it a bit lighter. But I think you would definitely approach it with a very Kyle flair for the living, breathing thing. I think I really like to see that.
Bro, you're pretty much just describing a Hat in Time. But
yeah, but Hat in Time is a lot thinner in terms of gameplay. I have played it.
Yeah, no, it's not. Well, again, understandably so. It's hard to make unless you implement other mechanics. It's hard to make just platforming super complex, because a lot of it, like, your basis is you got to get from point A to point B. For the most part, you jump, or you have some other ways of getting there. And in Mario, like, one issue I had with Mario Odyssey is that it had that kind of that issue where there was things you could do mechanically to make Mario go further and stuff like that, and you could experiment, and it was cool. The engine that they made was awesome, but I felt like the worlds were there, but they were kind of like just copy paste things that you normally see in a Mario game, like, oh, let's get the desert level, oh, let's get the ice level, and I didn't feel like there was a lot of character to the worlds, which is why I thought A Hat in Time was a cooler experience, because the worlds had so much character. They had writing, and the way that the gameplay changed with each world to fit the motif or theme of that world always made it felt like when you went to a new level, it was like a whole new game. Like, you're doing new things. There's different elements brought into the platforming that changed it up. And Mario Odyssey didn't have any of that. Your main goal, get to the end, get the whatever the fuck the moons, and then you're done. And then you could come back later and do that in another fashion, where gameplay pretty much was the same for the most part until you got to the moon, where it changed a little bit. And the only thing that majorly changed is it got a little harder and you could jump higher. So it was weird. I'm sorry for the interruption. Continue what you were saying.
No, I think you would be the one to find a way to make that work, though. I think you would find a way to make the Skyrim of Mario games, where it's just crazy. You like a large, continuous open world where there is a narrative if you so choose to use it, but it's encouraged to just platform off and explore your own areas, maybe find different items to use or things like that. Your primary method of locomotion and exploration is still going to be jumping around and running around and things like that. But I think that you would definitely find a way to expand on that Mario experience. It wouldn't be to replace or even improve upon Mario. It would just be to fill in that void that has been left. So that's where I think you would go with it. I don't think you would attempt like an RPG progression system, maybe super, super light. But I think it would be building off of where A Hat in Time and where Mario Sunshine left you, and expanding on that idea and throwing in the things you love about, living worlds. And I think that's completely doable. I think it's very doable. I think that would be a long-term project. That might be even more difficult than mine, because there's a lot more finer details you have to pay attention to. And you'd have to explore every inch of the game and make notes on what you wanted to react to your presence.
And even on top of that, like,
very doable.
I think the cool thing with a lot of just game design in general, the one interesting thing, if you're able to sit there and master level design and get to the point where you can create levels that work well with. Now, the thing is it depends on what you decide to go into, because platforming levels obviously have to be designed a little bit differently than FPS levels. But understanding how the genre interacts with the level, if you get really good at that, you can take any game and make it better. Or even games where every other element of the game is lackluster, just having great level design can make everything else just seem almost like not important at that point, because that's where a lot of the fun can come in, is if you create a level and a world that's fun to move through. It could kind of push it, just hold. It's like the camel. It's holding everything else on its back. Like, come on, fuckers, we gotta go. What's carrying this project forward can be level design if you get good enough at it. So I'm never going to make a video game. Well, I say never, but you never know what can happen, but I highly doubt it will ever happen. I'm more of like those, I'll just sit back here and watch people that are much better at this than me make fantastic things and just enjoy it in that aspect. But yeah, I think it was a good question.
Well, again, it was hypothetical.
Yeah. Do you have anything else?
Me?
No, just you want to add to that because we're probably going to wrap up this question.
Oh no. I think that pretty well covers it.
Okay.
I think you would have. I don't think your story would reach massively beyond, like A Hat in Time or Mario Sunshine or Banjo Kazooie's complexity as much. I think you would go for something that's easy to wrap your head around, but is very entertaining to be a part of. I think the focus of yours would be the experience of traveling through that world and fighting those enemies. There'd probably be some really big, like gigantoid boss fights and shit like that.
Damn, got me excited now. I want to play this game that will never exist.
But yeah, no, good question, Sam.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, question. Thank you, Sam.
I will you're going to call him Qui-Gon. Like, thank you, Qui-Gon. Watch out for that Darth Maul shit, dude. Bisection, not a good thing.
Well, should I say Weeb Studio 69 Games? Quote, we are the sexy. We appreciate the question.
The sexy.
But yeah.
That was my nickname for like 2 years.
Nice, bro. The sexy?
No, true story. The sexy, yeah. There was this Cuban girl who is by far the most beautiful woman that I have ever known in my life. I fell for this girl hard, but she got me a necklace pendant. It was not a small pendant. It would almost look like a fucking belt buckle. And back when the bling shit was really popular and everybody was wearing like oversized glittery metal necklaces,
like gaudy things, kind of.
Yeah, where they would wear it would be like a square that was made of metal, but the metal was dinted in a way that made it glittery,
and all it said was
or it had rhinestones on it, and then right. But mine said sexy.
Okay.
And so I didn't know what to do with it because it was rectangular and it had these 2 rectangular loops on the back. So I put a chain through it and I wore it as a necklace. I don't even know if it was supposed to be a pendant. And I started calling myself the sexy, and I invented this bad German gay man kind of persona, where I was like, "You cannot handle the sexy."
Oh God!
And I would talk like this and walk around and sashay and snap my fingers.
Oh God!
And I went through Walmart one time, and the funny thing was, I invented this whole persona where I had, I don't remember what the enemy's name was, but I had this mortal nemesis. I don't remember what I called him, but it was something funny. But let's call him the Doctor. And the Doctor was the enemy of all that is fashionable and sexy. And he could not handle the sexy. And because of his jealousness, he was trying to make everything unsexy. So what I would do is I would walk through the world, snap my fingers, and point at someone. And I would yell, "You cannot handle the sexy, but you are still sexy. Believe in yourself." And then I would walk away. And I would tell them they couldn't handle the sexy, because I was too sexy for them, but to still believe themselves, because even though they weren't on my level, they were still beautiful. That was like this whole thing.
Bro, that
and I was going through Walmart.
Bro, look out for spring 2019 anime season. This is the next anime coming out. Is exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, the sexy. I was going through Walmart, and I walked. I didn't see him, but I walked past one of my best friend's younger brothers, who was there with like 4 or 5 of these punk rock, like emo kids that were his crew. Those were his best friends. And they fell in step behind me. And like every 10 steps or so, I would say something about me, and then the sexy would be said. I'd add the sexy in there somewhere. And every time I would say it, they would stop, strike a pose, and in unison say, "Sexy." Like, so I had an entourage.
You had a hype squad following you, yeah, dude.
Yes. Bro, yes.
This would fucking be something you would see in Walmart, dude. Even today. Like, this is just something that would happen in a fucking Walmart.
The funny thing was, no matter where I went, most people played along with it. Like, they would immediately jump into some kind of character and play along, or they would. One guy was like, "Yeah, dude, totally can't handle the sexy, man. I'm just not. I can't do it. I can't." But
let me add.
You go on, man.
Walmart in Florida, obviously. Walmart in Florida. Yeah. That is the literal Twilight Zone that it exists on planet Earth. Is Walmart in Florida, Any
and I pretty much live in the Twilight Zone, not counting Walmart. Yeah. But I did this in all stores, but this happened to be a Walmart adventure. We rounded the corner into the back of Walmart where the baby and shit and the food shit and stuff like that is.
Okay.
And yeah, we were just walking around, and there was this woman pushing a cart like that was filled to the brim with cat food. Like there was hundreds of cans of cat food.
Okay.
And I ran up next to her, and they ran behind me, and I was like, "You cannot handle the sexy!" And she's like, "Oh my god!" And she started running, and I mean full tilt running with this shopping cart, and I ran behind her and next to her, and I was like, "You cannot handle the sexy! Where are you going?" And she's like, "Please just leave me alone!" And like.
Jesus.
And I don't know why. I know I was terrorizing.
Confirmed. Shawn assaulted a woman.
I don't know why it was so funny, but everyone in the store within earshot was just dropped. I don't know. Maybe it was the way she said it because she sounded remarkably like a Sesame Street Muppet.
Okay.
But like it was for some reason it was like the funniest shit ever. And from that point on, I would go in, and any employee that would get away with it, if I had the necklace on, would follow me, and I would have anywhere between 5 to 15 people behind me doing the sexy shout squad thing behind me. And it became like this big thing. So for like a year, it got to the point where most of my friends were like, "If you don't stop, I'm going to take the necklace and crush it into tiny pieces." Because it became this running gag that was about it stayed funny for a while, but eventually it needed to be retired for a while, and then eventually the necklace broke and the sexy died.
Yes, it is possible to have too much of a good time.
Yeah, story time is over. So yeah, that's that. But yeah, I was the sexy for a while.
I'm glad. See, Sam hearkened upon that. He was one of your hype men from back in the day.
Yeah.
He was looking up to be the sexy, and now he has achieved that. Where the fuck are we? All right, box office tops. Holy shit. Got some movies that came out. What do you think is number one, Shawn? Fuck. And what it is I wanted to see really badly. But we can get a chance to this weekend.
What came out? I'm sorry, refresh me.
I'm not telling you because then you'd know.
Well, that's not fair because you saw the fucking list. So tell me what came out.
The Grinch has been out. Robin Hood came out. Creed 2
sucks.
Came out. Ralph Breaks the Internet came out. Shoplifters came out. Something in French came out. Yeah, that's about it.
I'd say it's a toss-up between Creed 2 and Ralph Breaks the Internet, but I'm going to go with Ralph Breaks the Internet.
It's not fair. All right, so number one was Ralph.
You fucking saw the list before you.
Yeah, but that's not the point. Of course, everyone knows I know. I do the show notes. That's why I asked you guys. Okay, so number one is in fact Ralph Breaks the Internet, pulling a total of 127 million worldwide. I really wanted to see this movie. Again, did not get a chance this weekend. In second place is Creed 2, pulling 35 million for the weekend, sitting at a total of 56 million. It's weird because it says the weekend. Maybe it came out in the middle of the week. 56 million total. At number 3, we have Dr. Seuss the Grinch. I heard this movie was trashy.
It's not trashy. It's just average.
Okay, averagely trashy.
It's okay,
that's trashy
but it's definitely just a kids movie. It's not like the family stuff beforehand. It's not like the original show or the.
Isn't that most of Illumination Entertainment shit though? Like the kids stuff? Because
I mean, they make children's content. What does everybody expect? It's not going to be timeless.
I want depth in my Grinch movies, please. Thank you. All right, it pulled 30 million for the weekend.
No depth in any Grinch movie.
Sitting at a total of 216 million worldwide. At number 4, we have Fantastic Beasts coming in at 29 million for the weekend, sitting at a total of 438 million. And at number 5, we have Bohemian Rhapsody pulling 14 million this weekend, sitting at a total of $472 million worldwide. Sorry, I burped. 7th place is Robin Hood pulling. Excuse me, I got like hiccups now.
That movie is a fucking dumpster fire.
Pulling 9 million for the weekend. That sucks too, because I like the main actor. What's his face?
Yeah, Robin Hood's one of my favorite stories, and when people fuck that up, I get angry.
Taron Egerton.
I'm always angry, but yeah.
I loved him.
It's not a
Kingsman.
good movie, man. His character sucks. Little John sucks. The story sucks. Pretty much everything in that movie is garbage.
Bro, that sucks. I loved him in Kingsman too. God, I love the Kingsman film so much. Damn, we need a third. Would there ever even
They're going to make another one.
Yeah, they do way too well for them not to. So that pulled...
Not to mention, dude, Colin Firth, man. How can you not make another movie when Colin Firth is involved?
Yeah, $23 million for the worldwide. For opening weekend, that's not too strong, especially with the budget sitting at $100 million, but I haven't heard anyone talk about this movie, so no one gives a shit. At number 9, we have an interesting kind of pull-up called The Green Book. Oh, I saw trailers for this. It's got like a 1,616% increase from last week. Went from 22nd place to 9th place.
Yeah, the dramedy movie.
Yeah, it's the dude and he has the black guy and the black guy plays the piano. It's like in the time of racism.
It's got what's this? God damn it! What is
the main actor?
Strider. What was Strider's name?
Strider.
I keep saying Boromir, and it's not Boromir. Boromir what's his name?
Well, the actors are
Aragorn. Viggo Mortensen, yeah. I wanted to call him Aragorn though, because Viggo Mortensen isn't nearly as cool a name as Aragorn.
Yeah, you got a point. That sounds like something like a name of power, like one of those things like you have been chosen by the sword.
Oh yeah, dude. The fucking Lord of the Rings movies were epic, and they were really good. And even though they didn't follow the books, go fuck yourself. They were awesome. So, I think the Lord of the Rings movies are must-sees, and they're still extremely fun and extremely good to watch even now.
Lord of the Rings is medieval 2.5 Men. Don't at me.
I think at least part of your soul may have just been damaged for that comment, but it was worth it. I think you may have fucked yourself on that one.
Oh my gosh.
It's like YOLO!
Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. They can't stop me. I'm too powerful at this point. All right, so moving forward.
Too far gone, folks.
Yeah, we have what to look for. We got some games coming out this week. One that I know will excite Shawn, and one I haven't heard of, and then one I'm excited for. We have Darksiders 3 coming out November 27th, which is actually the day that this episode comes out. PS4, Xbox One, and PC. We have Artifact. Excuse me. We have Artifact coming to PC November 28th. I've never heard that. And we have Katamari Damacy Reroll coming to Switch, PC November 30th. Super exciting. I'd love to be back in Katamari Damacy. Jesus.
Damacy.
Yeah. Artifact. What is Artifact?
I remember wanting to play it, and I remember wanting it, and I don't remember what it is. So I'm useless in this area. You may have to look that up. All I remember is I wanted to play it.
It's the new card game from Valve. That's
yeah, but it looked like... Oh, then I didn't want to play it.
No, you got it confused. It's a collectible card game like Hearthstone, but it's from Valve. That's the one that everyone's super excited for because they thought that's like big thing coming from Valve. We might get another game. Trailer Artifact pops up. Everyone's excited, and then it's Hearthstone, and everyone collectively boos.
Cries.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think it's funny that Valve has $1 billion in their pocket.
Yeah, and they just don't want to fucking make another game.
And they don't.
Well,
everyone in the world is like, can we please play more Half-Life? And they're like, well, you could. But instead, do you like cards? We thought you would. Every time.
Yeah,
every time it's like, can we play Half-Life? And they're like, no, what we did was we made this thing. Or, no, but we revamped Steam.
Yeah.
There's a new thing on Steam now.
And it's still a piece of shit.
Yeah, I just can't wrap my head around it. They loved making the game. The dev team had a brilliant time making the game. They loved the game. The players love the game. The game loves the game. The game is its own biggest fan. Yeah. I can't wrap my head around it. Nobody understands why they just don't want to do that game anymore.
Half-Life 1 is like Halo's PC. Halo to PC, pretty much. It's like one of those games that was turn of the generation. This is something you have to play benchmark for FPS level design, all of those things on how, like, where you see it in like a college programming book 101, like, this is how you do this. This is what you're supposed to do. That's like the original Half-Life. They literally made a bookmark.
Made physics engines legendary.
Oh, like, yeah. And
Half-Life 2 is the reason why people work so fucking hard on their physics engines now.
I think it's just at that point where, like, they technically don't have to, even though they would set the world afire if they announced something like that. And they're just kind of
The gates of heaven would open up. Valhalla would release its souls. Like, eternity, like, the devil would disappear. He'd say, fuck it, I'm done.
Well,
it's Half-Life 3. I can't.
We do know that...
He would retire.
I mean, we might see a spiritual successor, but we know that Half-Life 3 will never come because the dude that wrote the story already is like, he released the script online. We just know that another game is not coming out. It's not going to happen. It's been like not confirmed, but for the most part, like, the story's online. You can read the rest of it, but they've kind of almost done everything except come out and say officially that there won't be a third Half-Life game, but maybe some kind of... I don't know, some kind of spiritual successor maybe, or something along those lines. But I do remember reading about the fact that the original writer, he's like, well, there's like a huge chance it's never going to be a thing. So here's the script. Finish the story.
I gotta read that then.
Yeah, I'm sure it's online somewhere.
I kept believing that they were just being basically
being
fucking,
assholes.
Guillermo del Toring it and saying, "Hey, I'm going to make Hellboy 3, but first I want to do this and this other thing and this other thing and this other thing and this," and that just fucking would keep happening. But I never imagined that they would just say, "Yeah, we're not going to do it because we actually hate you."
All right. So we got a few news articles to talk about before we get to Game of the Year predictions.
Prediction is fair.
First things first, Red Dead Redemption 2 online dates have been confirmed for their launch, for their online mode. We have oh my goodness. Yes. If you own the Ultimate Edition of the game, you'll be able to jump in November 27th at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time and 1:30 p.m. GMT. Figure that out wherever you live. Now, for everyone that played the game on launch day, this is interesting, you'll be the next group of people to receive access to the game. If you're one of those people, you'll be able to head in on Wednesday, November 28th. If you played the game between October 26th and 29th, you'll be able to join November 29th. I don't know why they're doing it this way. It's kind of weird. It is labeled as early access. They are doing this rollout method to help Rockstar ease everyone into the beta. And that's it. Pretty much we're hoping, if it's anything we're hoping for it to be as good as GTA 5. GTA 5's online, although it was rocky at its start, did end up developing into something that was really cool for a lot of people. I never got too super deep into it. I did a few things here and there, but I never like fully grinded the shit out of it. Now I could tell you right now, although it's weird, man. I don't know if I'll be playing this. We'll have to see. I might delve into it a little bit, but I can't see myself in the future just going ham on this online. It really depends on what it is and how much there is to do, but I just can't see myself blasting away at Red Dead Online. I'm excited for the people that are excited for the game. I still need to actually finish the game. I'm like 35% through, but I took a little bit of a break because I kind of completely tired myself out of it. Like in like a few days, I just played the shit out of it. And I do that for all my games, but some games they're not to a caliber. Now, I'm not trying to talk shit about Red Dead because it's just not my type of game, but some games aren't to a caliber where I can just bulldoze through it and not get tired of it. I was getting to the point where it was becoming a bit of a slog to push through Red Dead, unfortunately. Although I have heard that the story and stuff picks up, it's just where I was at that time, I just wasn't interested. Now I'm hoping that fire will reignite, and then I'll be able to at least finish the story and stuff like that. Not to be a downer on this whole online, this is super exciting for a lot of people, and I'm glad that a lot of people will have the opportunity to get into this. It's just, I don't know, the game just wasn't for me. It's really weird. And it's like the second game that everyone worldwide, everyone's all about, like Witcher 3. Everyone was all about that. I've tried to play that game like 6 times, like 4 times on console, twice on PC, just to get like a feel of it, and I just can't bring myself to finish the game. And then when I come back to it, I'm like in the middle of it, and it's such a large experience, I want to restart because I don't remember anything, and then we do the same thing. It's just like a never-ending cycle, and it sucks. But there you go. Again, one more time, if you own the Ultimate Edition, Tuesday the 27th. If you played the game on launch day, Wednesday the 28th. If you played between the 26th and 29th of October, Thursday the 29th. And then everyone who owns the game will get access Friday, November 30th. So there you go. You enjoyed Red Dead. You got something to look forward to. And now I could put it in the tags. So moving forward, we have Cyberpunk 2077 aims to be as, quote, refined as Red Dead Redemption 2. I didn't add those. That was in the article that I'm skimming through. So we did have the Witcher developer CD Projekt Red. We all know by now, everyone knows that they're coming out with a new Cyberpunk game. They released a statement saying that they do aim to be as refined as Red Dead Redemption 2. This was said by CD Projekt Red CEO Adam Kaczynski. I have no idea how to pronounce that. He said it during a recent investor presentation.
Everything about what you just said sounds bad.
Yeah.
Just so you know. That was...
Kaczynski? I don't know.
Yeah.
It was said during a recent investor presentation that Red Dead Redemption 2 has taught CD Projekt Red that the Polish studio must release, quote, extraordinary games so it can earn itself a, quote, nice fat slice of cake. So,
did they say that?
Yeah, that was, quote, nice fat slice of cake.
Yeah.
I fucking love
CD
Projekt
Red. That is
dude.
honesty, people.
Yeah. Finally, they said, without a doubt, this all quotes, without a doubt, quality is of paramount importance. We strive to publish games which are as refined as Red Dead Redemption 2 and recent Rockstar releases in general. That game is excellent. By the way, we are rooting for it. Rave reviews, excellent sales. What does that teach us? Well, it teaches us that it teaches us that we need to publish extraordinary games, and that's exactly what we are planning. So, one question to ask is, with all this, do we think maybe that Cyberpunk might be pushed back a little bit further for them to kind of sit down and take a look at what Red Dead Redemption 2 does with its worlds? Because say what you will about Red Dead, with it being a Western and all that other stuff, I think that with the world design and the way that you interact with the world and the way that every NPC feels like they belong in the world and the way that they interact with you and everything about that, it makes the world, it truly does, it's like a bookmark for a living, breathing world. And now the problem with that is that the game is plagued with semi-doo-doo controls and a Western story. So if you're not involved in that, then it could fall flat, I think. And I think that might be what's happening to me. I don't hate the game, but it does not interest me as much as it did initially when I had all the hype for it. So, and the game does control like doo-doo. Don't tell me it doesn't. And also don't at me. But like, I don't know, man. It's all Rockstar does is they make really cool worlds and stuff, and then the game controls like doo-doo unless you're driving a car. You absolutely have to use the auto aim for the most part. If you turn it off entirely, it makes the game practically impossible. It's doable, but there's no reason not to when you can snap to someone's head pretty much instantly. I don't know. It's weird. It's like a love-hate. But yeah, so Cyberpunk 2077, will they take the time to kind of take a few keynotes of what Red Dead did with its world and implement that into Cyberpunk? We don't know. but they do strive to make it as good, if not better. They're hoping for very high Metacritic scores and stuff like that. So super cool.
Fuck Metacritic.
Still. Although you can
I think that anytime a studio's main goal is to score high on Metacritic, they're making a fucking mistake.
I mean, it's
the
not
only thing they should be concerned with is the fans. They should be concerned with who's buying the game, not what the fucking critics are saying.
Isn't Metacritic?
Metacritic's a.
But doesn't Metacritic have like a user generated score thing too?
They take they've got a column for professionals.
There's for because they have like a user review. So in a technical way, and I don't think that's their main
little
goal.
bit. It's a god damn it. Why is it every time I go to actually say the word, it just dies in my brain? Twice it's happened. I know the word, I can't say it, but they take an average of all of the different. Set number of review sites, and they tend to be random, but different review sites.
Problem with that too, well, not with the critic one though, is like with the user sort, and we see it with like Fallout 76. Now that game is no way in like a 1 or 2 out of 10. I think it's actually a pretty solid game just a game, maybe not a Fallout title, but just a game as a game. I think it's a pretty solid game, and because people flood to sites like that and just trash the game. Just without even playing it, they'll just flood it with low reviews. It brings the score down. So it's always interesting.
I like the way Rotten Tomatoes does it, because Rotten Tomatoes has 2 different scores, and you can see like for instance, every Transformers movie, the first 3, especially the first 2 that were watchable, and the first one, which was the only one that was even remotely decent. You have the audience score and the critic score, and the critics were like, I think I would rather lick a diarrhea butthole on a buffalo than have to watch this movie. I think I'd rather have my eyes gouged out with sandpaper that has fecal matter on it than have to fucking watch this movie. And the audience was like, dude, that was awesome. I think I came. There's this drastic valley between the two. So you can see, like, this is what the fans think. This is what educated people think, and those are not mutually exclusive. And Metacritic is not exactly on that. I mean, it kind of gives you some of that information, but I just like Rotten Tomatoes gives me a lot more information than Metacritic does. I don't trust that. I think, but the thing is Metacritic affects stock prices, so that's why the game studios look at it so hard. Like they're always trying to aim for 90 or something like that.
Yeah, it's around there.
Yeah. Yeah. And very few games score that, You might get 10 games a year that fucking score in there.
Yeah, so here if they are kind of looking at their competitors and taking a step back, like, oh hey, this is what Red Dead's done. Let's see how we can implement that into our world. I think that'll just make Cyberpunk even better. And
yeah, dude, take it as inspiration.
Yeah, no, dude, definitely. And I'm super excited for that game because I actually give a shit about the setting and stuff and the environment, and Cyberpunk is up there with some of my more favorite like settings in fiction. So I'm super excited to see that world realized, and especially from the people that made Witcher 3, which is still a lot of people's like best RPG they've ever played kind of thing.
I'm going to pre-order 2 copies of it just because I think it's going to be that big of a deal that I want to have one like a collector's, So I'm going to get it on PC and on PS4 and just not open the PC copy.
Bruh, I laugh, and then I'm sitting here with like 4 copies of Nier. Because I'm stupid. Bruh, like, I really didn't need to buy that many, because I have one that sits on my shelf, and I've said this 100 times. One that sits on my shelf that now sits next to the book, which was fantastic, by the way. And the...
I forgot to buy it.
The soundtrack. So they sit at my own little shrine up there. I have a digital copy on PS4. Oh, I guess it's only 3. Maybe I was confusing the soundtrack as another. It's only 3. Sorry, I have a digital and a physical copy for the PS4, and then I have a digital copy on PC, which I was listening to someone that was playing it. It was Abyssal from our community, or a community we share with another podcast, pretty much. And he was telling me about it. He's super into it from what I was hearing from when he was talking. I was streaming, and he was chatting about it, and he says that it was working fine. And when I first installed it, there was like a few things, because Square Enix sucks ass at making PC ports. So I had to go through a few things to like make it work better, like resolution changes, all small patches from the community. But when he played it, it started up and booted and it runs fine. So I'm interested to see if they've actually updated it finally. And if they have, I might actually play it again. But that'd be like my first time playing the game. And I don't know. There's like other things that need to be done that's more important than just playing through Nier.
Play it again in a few years. That'll be the kind of game where you'd love to go back and play it again later.
Like once a year. All right, so we have one more article. We have Rainbow Six Siege's Wind Bastion update is now available on the PTR, public test realm. Patch note data has been released. So we have 2 new operators, which are fuck, what are their names? I'm losing my mind. Bruh, I got like all the patch notes here, and they don't even talk about the operators that I'm said. What are their names? Okay, so we have 2 new operators. We have Nomad and Cade, or Kaid. Nomad is the new attacking operator who has their gadget is called the air jab launcher, which is actually, from what I've heard, quite OP. Shawn, it's like so you know how guns have like underbarrel attachments, and you could shoot like little like 40 millimeter grenades and stuff like that. It's like that, but instead of it actually being a grenade, it's like a little thing that sticks to walls, and it shoots air out, and it sends people flying. Like I'm talking about like 10 to 15 feet, and knocks them. You can even knock them out of soft walls. So if you place it properly, you can literally shoot someone out of a building to their death if they're not careful. And I've heard it's insanely OP because not only does it knock you back, you like lay on the ground like an idiot for a few seconds. So the person that just fired the air jab, she can just run in and kill you while you're down. It's really good against shielded operators too, because it makes them lay on the ground while you put bullets into their asshole. So I've heard she's very strong. So I don't know what they might do with actually nerfing that, and how you can actually nerf that. They'd probably have to reduce like down animations and stuff like that. The Cade is the defender, who actually his gadget is electro claws, which they can electrify multiple reinforced walls and hatches, as well as barbed wire and deployable shields from a distance. Which again kind of seems, I know that they're trying to make these operators all unique in their own fashion, but I think that they're going to have a hell of a time kind of
jumping in sci-fi now.
Well, they've been doing that here and there for a while with the last couple operators. There's one dude that's literally invisible to cameras and drones, like just can't be seen, like entirely invisible when he has his ability up. So they've been kind of delving into that here and there, but I think at this point you kind of have to keep new and exciting things while also keeping them in a league of their own where they won't be too alike others. So besides that, apparently the defender, I think they both have like a 44 Magnum with a scope on it, and it's like one of the cleanest scopes in the game. Usually, you know, Shawn, like when you look at a scope, normally...
Why the fuck would you need a scope on a pistol?
Normally you don't, because it's
like
stupid,
that.
Because you can't like put continuous fire out, because you fire it, and then also you have it in real life, if it's you're putting your eye through a scope and you fire a 44, so something like a snub nose or something, dude, that scope is going to go right into your eyeball. So I have no idea how that works in real life. If you guys do know and you've seen them,
45s have a shitload of kick. So.
Let us know. So one thing with that is it's like the cleanest scope ever, and it's interesting because with a lot of video games, normally you're like controlling like trained military personnel, blah blah blah, and when they're using a scope, when you look down, you have the scope in the middle, and then everything else is black, right? These scopes, they have the scope in the middle, but you see outside of the scope as well. So you have magnification with the scope, but it's like how you're supposed to look through a scope where you keep both eyes open and you just look through the left eye. Like snipers are trained, when you fire, you keep both your eyes open. You don't close one eye to look through the scope. Both your eyes are constantly open. And then you're just using the left eye to manage your shot. So it's interesting because it's like the first implication we've seen in a video game. Now, one reasoning behind that is it's fucking broken, because not only are you getting the magnification for the scope, you get everything around it as well. So it's kind of crazy. But I've heard it's really strong. It's like the strongest DMR in the game too, like because it's really good and you can headshot people from mad distances with it. So I've heard it's really strong. So again, a little bit of tuning there, maybe reducing damage and stuff like that. Pretty crazy though. I haven't played Siege in a while, but these new operators do look really cool. I always kind of play a few games when a new operator comes out, kind of check them out, check out the new map. Both these operators are Moroccan, so that's pretty cool. We have a Moroccan map as well. Definitely excited for Operation Wind Bastion when it does come out. And then obviously new weapon skins and headgears, but who gives a fuck about that? I'm not spending $20 on your skins, Ubisoft. So, we're pretty much done with that. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the Game of the Year nominees. So, as last year was, this year is also quite a packed year for video games. And we have a lot of good competitors. Now, one thing is, as always, the Game Awards, I feel like their categories are fucked in the way that they differentiate everything, and I will explain why. I've already voted. If you guys want to vote for the Game Awards, at least, I know a few, like the Golden Joysticks are over, and the Game of the Year was like Fortnite or some shit. All those people can go burn in hell. That's what, one thing, it's interesting, because obviously Fortnite's big, right? But when I compare...
You're joking, right?
No, I swear to God, Fortnite won Game of the Year. Now, an interesting thing is, I think that Fortnite, in the right category, can be Game of the Year. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I think it needs its own category. Like how PUBG last year, that buggy piece of shit, almost won Game of the Year. Like people actually thought about it because it was such a big like game, like community-wise. It's like I think they need another category to add on to here where it's not just Game of the Year, but it's like biggest wave. Like what game had the biggest wave in the gaming community? And then I would have no problem giving that to Fortnite because that's exactly what it did. But when I sit Fortnite next to God of War or Red Dead Redemption, I'm like, there's no fucking comparison. I think as a complete package, God of War and Red Dead Redemption are much better titles than Fortnite. And I'm not saying Fortnite's bad. I just don't think that as a good video game that it is worthy of something that is, quote, recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. That's not Fortnite. That's not fucking Fortnite. And I understand that it's a big game, but I think it needs its own category, like something like that, like biggest wave or biggest community, something like that. And that would make perfect sense. I think Fortnite would be fine with that. But yeah, the Golden Joysticks had theirs and Fortnite won Game of the Year. I don't know what the nominees were though, but that's crazy. I saw a funny meme. It's like, it showed that article and it's like, this is why kids under 18 aren't allowed to vote. I'm like, oh shit, that's fucked. But yeah, that's interesting. So we'll start with, do you want to start with Game of the Year, Shawn, or end with Game of the Year? Like the big boy Game of the Year award. What do you think?
I'm torn between Spider-Man and God of War.
Why?
I'd probably say God of War. I think there was a bit more artistry in that.
I mean, like with actually in our flow. I mean, we could do Game of the Year now because it's the biggest award, or save it till the end after we talk about all the other awards.
I already blew mine, so.
All right, we'll start with it. All right, so yeah, Game of the Year is this is for the Game Awards, which happen early December. I think it's like in a week or two. Actually, does it tell me if I go to click watch or something? Add to calendar. Just tell me what day it is, you fuck. This is awful. No, just tell me. Give me a day. What? We live in 2018. Why don't you have your day? I have times here. It's 8:30 p.m. What day? What is this bullshit?
What are you doing?
I'm looking December 6th. I was looking for the day. I'm on their webpage, and it took me that long to find the day that the first day of the Game Awards is. What kind of bullshit is that? Whatever. Actually, I think Game Awards is only one day. I'm actually 100% sure Game Awards. I'm thinking of E3. I'm going crazy. 8:30 p.m. for us, Eastern time, on December 6th. So that's your time frame, guys. but you can vote. Still voting is still up. Wait, what a second. You can vote once every 24 hours? You know what I'm doing after this podcast. Shawn, actually, well, you should do it too, but I'm going to mark down, like I was saying, I'm going to mark down our choices, what we picked for each one. And then
I'll lean for God of War. I think that's probably a little bit more artistic than Spider-Man, but I think Spider-Man deserves some kind of fucking award.
Okay, so for Game of the Year, though, I was thinking what we can do, or for all of them, what we're going to do is we can do what we think is going to win, and then we can do one, because obviously, like your feelings and what you have played would differ from what you think is like overall a better package, right? So we can do what we think is going to win, and then us personally, our personal Game of the Year, and that can even be something that's not on. Actually, no, we'll stick to the nominees. We could do a talk after the event actually happens.
So who's nominated for Game of the Year?
So Game of the Year nominations, and as I said before, it's recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. We have Assassin's Creed Odyssey from Ubisoft Quebec, Celeste from Matt Makes Games, God of War from Sony Santa Monica, Marvel's Spider-Man from Insomniac Games, Monster Hunter World from Capcom, and Red Dead Redemption 2 from Rockstar Games. So what you think is going to win, and then what your personal Game of the Year is. What do you think?
Oh, that's hard. They threw in Celeste.
I fucking love Celeste, bro. But yeah, keep in mind there's more categories. We'll go through them. So what do you think your personal Game of the Year is? And I'm going to keep track of all this, and we'll come back to this afterwards to see how well we fared, or how close our opinions were with the rest. What do you think, Shawn?
I am going to go. God, man,
it's
I
hard.
Really want it to be more Spider-Man and Celeste, but I'm gonna go because I refuse to give Rockstar as much love as everyone else is pushing out. That's just nauseating. So I'm gonna go with God of
War.
Man.
Oh,
hold on. As good as Spider-Man was, it was still. I wouldn't say it changed a genre or pushed an envelope. I just think it did what it did, pretty damn well. And even then, it still has its problems. So I'm gonna go. Oh, God damn it, man!
It's hard.
I'm gonna go with God of War.
I'm
gonna go with God of War, but what I want to win is Celeste.
Okay.
And I want God of War to come in second. I don't even want to fucking see Red Dead on the stage. I'm making a lot of friends that way, but fuck you guys.
Yeah, what I think is gonna win, I think it's a toss-up between Red Dead and God of War. I've seen a lot of people vibing on both of those like very well. I think it's gonna be like to the T between the two. I think though that overall God of War made a bigger wave on its initial launch, but that just might be the circle that I'm a part of. But I feel like God of War, there's a lot more talk going on about it from get-go, even though there's a lot for Red Dead. So I'm going to say I think God of War will win. For my want, I want God of War to win too, though. So I'm going to leave them both the same. I really think overall, as a complete package for both, again, creative and technical fields, I think God of War excels over Red Dead Redemption. Because I think that, like, you shouldn't have a game come out in 2018 that has jank, bro. Like, there's jank in Red Dead. And people will say, oh, you get used to it and shit like that, but I shouldn't have to, right? It's 2018. When you have a game like God of War that's super easy to play off the get-go, I know it's a different game, but still, that game feels practically flawless with its combat system. It is that well done. And I think that Rockstar, with the hype that was coming from Red Dead Redemption 2, they could have easily sat down and say, hey, I know we'd like our physics-based engines, but let's take a second to kind of make it a little bit easier to do things so I don't have the model but fucking himself trying to get another round in the chamber while popping in and out of cover because the player hit one button and accidentally called his horse from 6 fields over. Kind of like that. And again, that was a huge fucking just over like a hyperbole, but still, like it feels janky, and a lot of people, I think, even if you like the game, you can at least say it still has the jank that GTA 5 had, and those games are what, like almost 6-7 years apart at this point. So I don't think that should be allowed. The game's great overall, but I think that kind of takes it one notch down below God of War, which felt good the entire time and offered just as much. So I think it's also weird because a lot of people are vibing on Red Dead now, and they kind of forget how much they vibed on God of War when it first came out, because time, it moves, and you remember it being a great game, but you're high on this game right now kind of thing. So it's kind of hard to put the two together when one you played a couple months ago, and then you have this one that you're playing right now. It's because you don't remember as much, so it's weird. But I ain't falling for that bullshit. I still think God of War overall as a complete package is a better game. So next is best ongoing game. So, best ongoing game, Shawn. What do you think? Shawn? I'm so dumb. I didn't even fucking say the nominees. I didn't even say the nominees. Never mind. I'm stupid. All right. So best ongoing game. We have, this is awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. Number 1, we have Destiny 2 Forsaken by Bungie. We have Fortnite from Epic Games. No Man's Sky from Hello Games. Overwatch from Blizzard. And Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege from Ubisoft Montreal.
Rainbow Six, Fortnite.
You have Destiny 2, Fortnite, No Man's Sky,
Destiny 2.
Overwatch, and Rainbow Six Siege.
Rainbow Six.
Rainbow Six? Okay. I as much as I agree that they've done a really good job to... I think it's weird. I think Fortnite might win this just because it's Fortnite. I don't want...
They ruined the PvE.
I don't want Fortnite to win it. Yeah, no one cares about that, though. Everyone cares about the PvP, and everyone says that the PvP has been well supported over time. I don't want Fortnite to win, but I think I'm gonna have to say Fortnite because I think it's just gonna win with its absolute massive following that it has. So you said Siege, Shawn. Okay. And what do you want to win?
Siege.
Okay.
That's why I said Siege.
Okay.
I don't want Fortnite to get any more fucking glory because the industry's not going to change as long as nobody refuses to look in another direction or think for themselves. And I don't want Destiny to win because I want Bungie to learn their fucking lesson. And all that's left is Overwatch, which
is in a horrible place right now. No, it's in a really bad place right now, dude. Yeah. They suck fat donger at fucking balancing their games, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, I will say I love the characters in Overwatch. I love the imagery. I love the design of Overwatch. I love the idea behind it. And I had a great deal of fun with Overwatch, largely because of who I played with. Even though Hector's kind of an asshole, as much as he was an asshole at times, and Kyle to a much lesser extent, but as much as Hector may have been an asshole at times, there were also times when we had a great amount of fun. And when we were working as a well-oiled unit, it was incredible.
Well, keep in mind two things.
Fun, very enjoyable. There were a lot less characters when we used to play a lot, but to me, the world of Overwatch, even though the game is fun, the world of Overwatch is much more interesting than the game itself. And I do like playing it, but I don't know. There's something about it that just doesn't stick with me like it does for everybody else.
Well, yeah, also keep in mind that this is an award for supported development of ongoing content over time. It's not just the game as a whole. So it's how well
they've done is balance stuff, release a tiny handful of new maps and a couple of new characters. I mean, if they were going to really support the game, I think they should have done more than that. I still think they're fucking over players by not releasing the odds of what's in the loot boxes and telling people exactly what's in the loot boxes, like they do in Elder Scrolls, like they had do in a small handful of other games. You know what's in the loot box. You know what your chances of getting it are. It's you have all the information you need to make an educated choice. And they refuse to do that. So I'm not going to vote for Overwatch. As much as I love the characters, I don't think the Blizzard's done a good job of really supporting that community by expanding and maintaining the game. So again, I'm going to go with Rainbow Six. And this is not because I played the game. Just to preface this is because I have heard bitterly hours and hours and hours of Kyle and Hector and Tyler and Jonathan and everyone playing that fucking game, enjoying the shit out of it, and rarely saying anything negative about it, and always reflecting positively on the stuff that's released for it. And that speaks volumes to me. You know, I wanted to, by the time I had enough money to get into the game, they had already left it behind for PC. So I'm never really going to get to experience that with my friends. But all of the audio that I heard of it was always good, and they get a great deal of fun out of it, and never once have they complained about a content update or a change, and if they have, it's been very light. So I would say that's both of my answers.
Okay. All right. Next category, we have Best Game Direction, awarded to a game studio for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. For the nominees, we have A Way Out from Hazelight Studios, Detroit Become Human from Quantic Dream, God of War from Santa Monica Studios, Marvel's Spider-Man from Insomniac Games, and Red Dead Redemption 2 from Rockstar Games. What do you think, Shawn?
What was the second one?
Detroit Become Human. So it's like the kind of like tank controls, walk around, and it's an interactive movie.
And it was direction? Yeah,
Best Game Direction. Outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. God of War.
Oh, fuck. No. No. Wait. Direction. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man?
God damn, this is harder than the game of the year one.
It's fucking difficult because I think that God of War, Spider-Man, and Red Dead Redemption 2 all have really good game direction and design. I think overall the design is really good for all these games, and it's a hard fucking award, and it's crazy because these do not get any.
What are the other awards, real quick?
We have Best Narrative, we have Best Art Direction, we have Best Score / Music, which is cool because they separated that from Best Art.
All right, I'm giving Spider-Man this one. This one is Spider-Man.
Spider-Man? Okay, Best Direction.
Yeah.
I still think God of War. I think God of War is going to pull a Breath of the Wild, and I think that because
they're going to sweep. It's going to sweep.
I think it's going to sweep.
Let me put it this way: I'll say God of War will win, but I want Spider-Man.
Okay, that works. That's all I need from you. I think it's going to be a toss-up. I think because I'm thinking in the mind of the voter. I think if they gave God of War Game of the Year, that they might give Red Dead Redemption 2 like Best Direction. So I think it could be an easy toss-up between God of War and Red Dead Redemption 2. I love Spider-Man, don't get me wrong, but I think overall just God of War and Red Dead are like one peg higher in the amount that they do with their game, whereas Spider-Man is just kind of a Spider-Man game. I still think it's a fantastic game.
Yeah, but the direction includes the story and the narrative and stuff like that, and I think Spider-Man deserves a lot of cred for coming up with a really good...
I think the story overall actually was a little bit predictable, to be honest, but when I think also direction implies I think the suits in the game were all fucking phenomenal. They all looked really good, and I thought overall Spider-Man's character was good. But one thing that pegs Spider-Man down too is its game design. So when that deals with the game direction, and some dumbass over at Insomniac thought it was a good idea to have multiple missions where not only do you not play as Spider-Man, but you play as useless-ass characters like Mary Jane. And now I understand in the point of story, it makes sense, but you don't need to have us play that when I want to be swinging around as Spider-Man. And here I am doing a linear stealth-based Mary Jane mission that just took me out of the game completely. And I hated those missions with a passion. And I think that kind of affects my opinion. It brings it a peg down as well, because I really think that overall that game was so good. And then here you have these very visible, in my opinion, like marks of like just dumb ideas that someone thought was cool. Just because Mary Jane had to help Spider-Man and they had to be kind of on the same level. She couldn't be just a sidekick. She had to have her own power and things that she did herself, where Spider-Man could have easily solved the problem doing his own thing because he's a fucking superhero.
That was an SJW thing because they knew
it's still in the game though, dude. It's still in the game. I can't.
No, I agree. It's frustrating.
It is
frustrating. I'm not
as much as I love that game and I played that game to death and it was really good. It's just there's visible things in where I can't. It's harder to find that in God of War and Red Dead, at least when it comes to like direction. Now I haven't finished Red Dead. I'm going off of what I'm hearing from other people, and I think that a lot of people again are vibing on this game right now. What I think will win, I think it's easy toss up between Red Dead and God of War. I want God of War to win though for game direction. Yeah, it's crazy though. A lot of these are very difficult, and they constantly are pairing like the top three together, being Spider-Man, God of War, and Red Dead, and it just makes it very hard to decide what's going to win. But I really think that God of War might kind of just pull a Breath of the Wild. I think people might also kind of swap between Red Dead and God of War for when they're voting. They're like, oh, I kind of give all this love to God of War. I want to try and give love to Red Dead too, because they're both phenomenal games in their own right. But next we have is best narrative. We're gonna have to kind of speed this up a bit, so we're not here for like 45 minutes because we're only on the third, and there's like 15 of them. So we have best narrative. So that's outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. We have Detroit Become Human, God of War, Life is Strange 2 Episode 1, which is a really weird inclusion from Don't Nod. We have Marvel's Spider-Man, and Red Dead Redemption 2. What do you think, Shawn? What's going to win? What do you want to win?
God of War.
What do you want to win? Both? Is God of War for both?
God of War.
Okay. I would have to agree, just because when I think overall narrative, I think from God of War, I was hooked off the get-go kind of thing. Like from the first fight at the house, when he fights, what's his name? Holy shit, the lightning guy. Dude that doesn't feel pain. I don't remember his name. It's been a while.
I know he whooped his ass.
Yeah. From that first moment, from walking with the sun and seeing just everything about it, I was hooked from the get-go. I was enjoying the game right off the bat. And Red Dead, I still haven't really found my thing. And I know that's the idea of a lot of Westerns, is they kind of have like a slow burn, but you can have a story like that and have it still be intriguing to the viewer to the point, and you just make up for that in character. And although I think the game does have
also, let's be fair, man. Life is Strange does have a really unique and powerful narrative. Like that's one thing that's always been good about that game, is it does have a good narrative. Even if it's weird, it's still a really bang up narrative. It does deserve some credit there, but I just don't think it's on par with what Sony Santa Monica has been able to do with
God of War. And I think the one interesting thing with Life is Strange is I think that the idea around the narrative is really good, although I think sometimes from what I've watched, 'cause I've watched a lot of the game be played, so I've seen it through other people playing the game, is I think when it sometimes that the execution of the narrative is a little off. Like I think the writing at some points is a little questionable, and I think some of the character interactions are a little questionable. I always said it was a weird thing because it was like Life is Strange 2 Episode 1 and instead of just Life is Strange 2. I don't even know if the second episode's out yet. But like I think the idea is cool. I just think the execution is a little off. And again, when I compare it to something, and I 100% agree with you, I think overall it's like a really cool idea, and I think in that in the major moments it works well, but in some of the smaller moments I think it kind of falls flat. But I would agree with you that it is a decent nominee to be up there. And keep in mind that we say this, I haven't played Detroit Become Human. I'm not a fan of those types of games. So these are all we haven't played every one of these games. Keep that in mind. So these are votes from things that we have played and stuff along those lines. So next, You have Best Art Direction for outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Octopath Traveler, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Return of Obra Dinn. What do you think's going to win?
Octopath Traveler.
What do you think's going to win?
I don't think Octopath Traveler will get any respect at all. Fuck, man. You had to say what he thinks going to win.
Well, that's what we're doing, bro. What do you think's going to win?
What are the nominees?
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Octopath, Red Dead 2, and Return of Obra Dinn, which is a really cool looking, but it's an indie title, so I don't think it will get much love.
And this is what now?
Art direction. Art direction.
Art direction. Not Red Dead.
It's bro, these aren't easy, dude.
You know, I'm sticking. I don't really know. Like, I definitely not fucking Assassins suck. Yeah, I'm going. Fuck that. I'm sticking. God of War wasn't in there, right?
No, it isn't here.
Oh yeah, probably God of War. Fucker. But I want Octopath Traveler to win that shit.
Okay. That's a good pick. I think Assassin's Creed Odyssey's world is very pretty, although I think the rest of the game is very bleh.
Dumb.
But I can't really see it winning though. It's just because it's just going against like Titans, so I can't see it. But like I think for art direction. Oh, did I say for outstanding creative and or technical achievement? Yeah, I did say that. Okay, just making sure. I think again I think it'll be more into the lines of God of War because they literally had to like design. I don't know how many people will take this into account, but you're designing enemies based on like mythology and stuff like that, and you're creating a world around that where just like Red Dead, although it's pretty and it looks nice, I think a lot of it's not. It's weird because it's just, it might be blasphemous or whatever, but it's like just a Western. So you have people, but then you have like God of War, which is like a fantastical environment. And some of the areas, like when you started going through portals and you first visit that area with the light bridge. Wow, I can't see. It's been so long, I can't even fucking remember the name of these places. But to be fair, they're all weird names. When it's like the first portal you go through, that area, when you have the two races fighting each other, and you're like on the boat and you're going through the water and they have like the light bridges all over. I thought that area was fucking gorgeous. And it's like such a testament to the amount of like detail that goes into the game, even down to the gigantic boss fights, which I thought were really cool, which again, that kind of falls into art direction. I think overall the enemy design, and the look of the game is so good from even the different armors that you can acquire. It's so hard. It's such a hard choice, but I really think God of War would win. I love Octopath Traveler. I love the idea that they did and the way that the engine that the game runs in being an Unreal, but still using Sprite. And for the most part, having a lot of special effects on top of everything. I think it's such a cool take on the nostalgic idea of having, is that 8-bit? It didn't feel like 16-bit. I'm not too sure. But a different take on those older style graphics, but still being gorgeous in its own right.
It was more like a 32-bit style.
But like everything about it was, in art direction, was awesome. Really good. I would like Octopath Traveler to win too, just to give that some love, but I think God of War would win. Again, it's just for the most part. Best score / music. This one's dead ass. I can't even, although there are some hard choices in here, I already know my answer. So this is for outstanding music, inclusive of score, original song, and or licensed soundtrack. So we have Celeste, we have God of War, we have Marvel's Spider-Man, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath Traveler, which also has really fucking good music. I just don't think it's not as pronounced, and Red Dead Redemption 2. What do you think? Celeste. Yeah, I think, again, I think people just might because I don't think as many people have played Celeste as that have played God of War or Red Dead Redemption 2, so that might be a little rough, but I really...
God of War's music is always really good, but I mean, it's never not been really, really good, but I think that to ignore Celeste in this area would be a crime.
Yeah, and Spider-Man's music was really good too, like the original theme.
Yeah.
That was really dope. I think Ni no Kuni 2's music was okay. It wasn't anything super spectacular to stick out to me, but it had like some good tracks in there. Red Dead Redemption 2, I think its audio design's a bit better than the music itself. Audio design in that game is phenomenal, but I think the music itself never really stuck out to me as much. It was very simplistic, and it wasn't anything that kind of helped me get into the mood. It was weird. But I think what I think might win, I think it might be one of the big three, just because I don't think many people have played Celeste, but I really, really want Celeste to win. I think the music in that game is fucking amazing. It's really good. Some of like the better indie music I've ever heard. Fucking phenomenal. But I think it might be God of War, Spider-Man, or Red Dead. It's hard. I can't just pick one, but I think it'll probably come down to...
Did I do the what will win and what I want to win, or did I just do what I want to win?
I think you just did. You just said Celeste, so I'm not too sure.
Oh, so God of War will win, and I want Celeste to win.
We're just so set on God of War fucking straight sweeping, which is still a possibility. I think a lot of the awards will fall between Red Dead and God of War, and as much as that saddens me, I understand why. But like, if Celeste lost here,
I just don't think that Red Dead's extreme attention to detail and world building makes it Game of the Year material. I think that it makes it a brilliant step in the right direction to develop a world for exploring. But I don't think that alone makes it an amazing game. I think that's an amazing trait to a typical Rockstar experience. It's not me being against, Rockstar, or being against the cowboy thing, because that's not it at all. I just don't think that Rockstar... They're just not the type to fucking do something that's gonna... I just don't see them doing that, man. They only change formulas a tiny bit at a time. And, I mean, the only time I remember them ever doing something that was a drastic change was Grand Theft Auto 3. Everything else since then has been...
same idea, pretty much.
Incremental changes. And it's always they where the only kind of risks they're willing to take are controversial ones. Like, oh wait, this is going to piss off moms, so this is definitely a good idea. Let's go ahead and roll with this.
That reminds me of that.
Kids love that shit.
You remember that ad when Dead Space first came out?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, don't let your mom see this or some shit. It's just moms playing a bunch of Dead Space one.
People getting eviscerated.
Such a dumbass.
What moms think about Dead Space?
Yeah,
that was
so stupid.
But I think that that's my basic take on it.
Yeah, I feel that a lot of the times popularity falls down to a lot of these. That's why they have the panel of voters. So, but I think Celeste was big enough where it could win. I would feel very sad though if it did not win score/music. I really think it deserves that because it was, again, a phenomenal game. Again, Shawn, you should vote tonight and actually go on and vote. You can do it on your phone.
What's the website?
thegameawards.com/awards, and you could vote there. I didn't know you could vote once every 24 hours. You best believe you know what I'm doing for the rest of the...
Yeah.
Okay. I just need to remember. Okay, next we have Best Audio Design, presented by Dolby, recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. We have Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Forza Horizon 4.
How dare they put Call of Duty in the running?
God of War, Marvel's Spider-Man, and Red Dead Redemption 2. What do you think? What do you want to win, and what do you think will win?
That's a hard one. Spider-Man's sound design was super good.
It was.
But I'm definitely gonna... I think God of War will win. I don't mind God of War winning over Spider-Man, but I think Spider-Man deserves a shot, but I think God of War probably inches it out by like a half mile, not a huge inch out, but I think God of War's attention to detail with sound and the massive number of different sounds that were in that game, and just sonic textures and things like that, I think that's a little bit more ambitious than what they did with Spider-Man. I think the reason Spider-Man was special was because they gave us a good Spider-Man game, a good next-gen Spider-Man game, and it was a very special experience. But I think it dealt with a lot more flaws than God of War did.
All right.
I mean, after a few hours of playing Spider-Man, you're just repeating yourself, and it's just so good that you don't mind. Yeah. But I would not credit it with being a life-changing kind of fucking experience. And God of War definitely changed how that series functions. You've got the same character, and you get to see how he's changed and grown, and the sounds are different, and just, I don't know, it's massive to me. So I think that God of War deserves it.
Okay. I think that...
So I'm going to say God of War.
Okay. I think that... I think Red Dead does a lot, and I think this is kind of a byproduct of the fact that they want to build a living world to make... I think their sound in that game is fucking phenomenal in Red Dead Redemption 2. So I think Red Dead's going to win. And I'd be okay with Red Dead Redemption 2 winning that. I really do think that that's, again, one of the byproducts of them making such a believable and immersive world is having that sound and going through, again, having like 200 something different bites for animals and stuff like that, and all those things go into making that experience so good in that regard. And I'm going for audio. The rest of the game, maybe not so much, depends on what you're into, but I think audio design overall, I think, was phenomenal in Red Dead. So I'd give them to Red Dead there. I think it will win, and I'd be okay with it winning too. So, all right. Next, we have Best Performance, awarded to an individual for voice over acting, motion, and or performance capture. We have Brian Deckard as Connor from Detroit Become Human, Christopher Judge as Kratos from God of War, Milisanthi Mahut as Cassandra from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Shut up. Shut up.
I love it when you try and say names. It makes my day.
Roger Clark as Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2. And Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker from Marvel Spider-Man.
Peter motherfucking Parker, bitches. Okay. All the way.
All right. What do you think will win?
Peter Parker.
Okay. I like Arthur Morgan's character a lot, and I think as much as I love God of War, and I think Christopher Judge does a fantastic job as Kratos, it's Kratos, so it's kind of hard to gauge, like, although from what he does say, the voice acting is fantastic, but he doesn't say a lot, so you don't get a lot of range for the voice acting potential there. Because it's Kratos. He says like one word every 30 minutes of gameplay, and it's half the time it's boy. So it'd be kind of hard to give that to him, but I love his voice.
Boy memes.
Yeah, I love his voice. I think he does a good job. Has Christopher Judge always been Kratos, or was it a different person? I'm pretty sure it was someone different before, correct?
Like, I don't remember who did Kratos first.
I think Kratos prior was not the same Kratos that we have now. I feel like he feels a lot more raspy than he was prior, but I think his
he was raspy before.
I think he feels.
He's also raspy. A lot older. Like Kratos is a god. I mean, now I think he was stripped of his powers. He got him back. He was stripped again. I don't know how much of those powers he carried with him when he left Greece.
See, in God of War 3, he was voiced by Terrence C. Carson, so it's a brand new voice actor for God of War 4 or God of War. Okay. Yeah, but I think he did a good, like, he was Kratos. I think he did a good job of filling in that position and making it still feel like the character that we've come to know over time.
This Kratos is the Kratos he is now is also a lot more human than he was for a while.
Yeah, and he feels like, even though he's a super old overall, I feel like he's become, I guess, more mature in a way. And you could definitely tell that in his voice as well.
He doesn't exactly age normally, so
yeah. But since there was not a lot of range for the voice acting, I think I'd give it to Roger Clark as Arthur Morgan, because I think overall, his character was really good. I think the voice acting.
With a cowboy over Spider-Man, you betrayer.
Spider-Man was okay, but I never was like. I don't know. I was never.
You're a horrible person. Don't make up excuses.
I don't know. I think Roger Clark did a fantastic job as Arthur Morgan, so I would give it to that. And what I think might win, I think it'd be either Roger Clark or Yuri from Spider-Man. I've heard that Cassandra's like the best character from Odyssey, but the rest of them suck ass when it comes to voice acting, so that's probably why she's there. All right, next is game where we need to need to hurry up because Shawn, we're maybe a quarter of the way through this list, bro. So,
well, do your thing, man.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours and 13 minutes into the podcast. This is the same thing that happened last year too, which is funny. So this is Games for Impact. It's a thought-provoking game with a profound pro-social meaning or message. We have 1111 Memories Retold, Celeste, Florence, Life is Strange 2 Episode 1, and The Missing, JJ Macfield and the Island of Memories. What do you think? What do you want to win? What do you think will win?
What was the question? Because none of those are familiar to me.
Games for Impact. So games with a thought-provoking game with a profound pro-social meaning or message.
And the game options were?
1111 Memories Retold. A lot of them are indie. Celeste, Florence, Life is Strange 2 Episode 1, Celeste. And The Missing, JJ Macfield and the Island of Memories. Yeah.
Celeste, because I don't know any of the other ones, so I have no options.
Okay. I think Celeste too, and not just because it's the only one I've played, although I haven't played the others, but I really like the message in Celeste, like the idea of self-worth and how you look at yourself and that you can do anything, all that, like all the goody feel-good stuff, but I think I really liked the story and the message in Celeste a lot. I really enjoyed it. So... Next, we have Best Independent Game for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. We have Celeste, Dead Cells, Into the Breach, Return of Obra Dinn, I don't know, and The Messenger. What do you think?
Celeste? I'm going Dead Cells for sure.
Dead Cells is a really good game. I think Celeste overall, I've played Dead Cells, Celeste, The Messenger, and a little bit of Into the Breach. But I think overall Celeste, just as a complete package, just stands out so high above everything else as games. I really like Dead Cells, though. I thought it was really good. But I'd have to give it to Celeste. I think Celeste might win, too. I think its biggest competitor might be Dead Cells, because those I thought had the two biggest waves when they came out. Next is Best Mobile Game. So that you see the awards are kind of getting slowly into the fields of shit we don't know. Best Game Playable on a Dedicated Mobile Device. This is Donut County, Florence, Fortnite, PUBG Mobile, Reigns, Game of Thrones. What do you think?
I don't give a fuck.
Okay. I think Fortnite will win just because it's Fortnite. I don't necessarily want Fortnite to win, but I haven't played any of these to really have an opinion otherwise. So I'm going to give it to Fortnite. Best VR/AR game. We have Astrobot Rescue Mission. Oh, best game experience playable in virtual or augmented reality, irrespective of platform. We have Astrobot Rescue Mission, Beat Saber, Firewall Zero Hour, Moss, and Tetris Effect. What do you think?
Beat Saber.
I think I'm going to have to go with Beat Saber too. What I think...
Yeah, and they have hot Japanese chicks playing it, which makes it even better.
I think Beat Saber and Moss might be close to each other, but I think as a VR title, I think Beat Saber is just a fantastic utilization of the technology. It's super cool, and overall a very fun experience. So I'm going to give it to Beat Saber. Next, we have Best Action Game. For the best game in the action genre focused on combat, we have Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Dead Cells, Destiny 2, Far Cry 5, and Mega Man 11. What do you think will win? What do you want to win? What do you think will win?
What were the choices?
Call of Duty 4, Dead Cells, Destiny 2, Far Cry 5, Mega Man 11.
Oh, that's hard. Dead Cells versus Mega Man 11. Oh, that's really mean. What was the category again?
Action game.
Dead Cells.
Okay.
Dead Cells will probably take it. I want Mega Man 11 to win, but let's be honest, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think so either. What I think will win will be Black Ops 4. A lot of people have been vibing on that. I think that will win Best Action Game. Although I think Far Cry might have a chance as well, but I think everyone's really big on Black Ops 4 right now, so I can see that winning. What I want to win, I'll go with Dead Cells too, because I don't think Mega Man was a cool game, but I think overall it really did not do too much to reform Mega Man into something special. It just felt like another Mega Man game.
Mega Man already is something special. It's just a precision platformer. It's the best that you see that platforming can do of that type, and I think they did an excellent job with it. But you're allowed to be wrong.
I mean, I think it's a good game. I just don't think that for something that we haven't received a Mega Man in so long, although I know a lot of it was to harken on the nostalgia, I think it would have been cool to see keep it a platformer, keep its identity, but introduce something that would actually make it not just feel like almost a remaster of an earlier Mega Man kind of thing. But it was a good game, though. I enjoyed it a lot. Probably one of the weakest titles in regards to music, though. Like, none of the songs in Mega Man 11 were that good. Like, I
thought they were good.
Not to the point where, like, I'll remember it after, which happens to a lot of the other Mega Man songs.
It's no Mega Man 2 for sure, like in terms of music originality.
All right, next we have Best Action Adventure Game. For the Best Action Adventure Game, combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving, we have Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Marvel's Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. What do you think?
Give me that category again.
It's a action adventure game, and it's Odyssey, God of War, Spider-Man, Red Dead, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Odyssey? Assassin's Creed?
Fuck us. Oh, I thought you meant Mario Odyssey.
No, that game was last year, dude. What are you talking about?
I was hoping. Oh, no.
Assassin's Creed.
Shit. Assassin's Creed or Red Dead or what was the other one?
God of War, Spider-Man, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Adventure, Spider-Man for sure.
Okay.
I think God of War is more than just an adventure game. I think that's reducing it, but Spider-Man was absolutely an adventure game.
Okay. I think the same applies to Red Dead too. It's interesting because there's not really many puzzles in Red Dead Redemption 2. You're kind of just, you do your thing and you have missions that you do. So I don't feel like it belongs in this category, to be honest. But I think God of War will win, but I want to give some love to Spider-Man. I think it fills that role a lot better, but I think God of War will win. Best role-playing game. For the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. So, we have Dragon Quest XI, Echoes of an Elusive Age, Monster Hunter Worlds, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath Traveler, and Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire.
I didn't play Pillars of Eternity, but I did play Dragon Quest, and that's really good. So, God, but Octopath Traveler, shit.
Yeah, I know. They don't make it easy. It's been a really good year for video games. Like a really good year.
I'm going to give Dragon Quest some love.
Okay.
I think Octopath will take it, but I want Dragon Quest to take it.
Okay. I think Octopath will take it too, but I really liked Octopath. I think I'm going to give it to Octopath. I don't think Monster Hunter is a RPG, though. It's weird.
It's not.
I feel like it's much more of an action game.
Monster Hunter is an action game.
Yeah. So I don't know why it's even
I think that Octopath deserves it, don't get me wrong, but I think that Dragon Quest does also. I just don't think that Dragon Quest probably did enough to change the formula, and that's probably why
Octopath will
going to take it. But I still want to see Dragon Quest get some press. You know, but that's what we want to win, not necessarily what we think will win.
Did you say what you think will win? Octopath, right?
Yeah, I think Octopath will take it.
Okay, and you want Dragon Quest. Yeah, I think Octopath, and I want Octopath. I didn't play Dragon Quest, though. Next, we have Best Fighting.
You bought it, didn't you? You were planning on buying it.
Yeah, it was when it goes on sale. That's my intention. Best Fighting Game. For the best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat.
Soul Calibur.
We have Blaze Blue, Cross Tag Battle by Arc System Works.
Oh, they threw Blaze Blue in there?
Yeah.
Shit.
Dragon Ball Fighters, by Arc System Works.
Oh, that was good too.
Soul Calibur 6, Bandai Namco Studio, and Street Fighter 5 Arcade Edition. What do we think was going to win? What do we want to win?
BlazBlue's always good. That and Guilty Gear are pretty much the same level of awesome. They play similar. They're gorgeous. Fuck. I think BlazBlue will take it, but I want Soul Calibur 6.
Okay. I think Dragon Ball FighterZ is going to take it, and I want Dragon Ball to win. I think I've heard more about Dragon Ball than anything else among the list here.
That's a good game, but I played both that. I played both that and the new BlazBlue, and the BlazBlue is just a bit tighter, and it's just a bit prettier.
I can't.
But it's always pretty.
Yeah, Arc System does a phenomenal job. It's funny because it's still Arc System, so give and take, they still.
They're going to win either way.
Yeah.
More than likely, I think if I could change my name, my choice to Arc System Works will win, but I want Soul Calibur 6 to win. I would do that.
Okay. All right. Next, we have Best Family Game for the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. We have Mario Tennis Aces, Nintendo Labo for some reason, Overcooked 2, and Starlink Battle for Atlas, and Super Mario Party. What do you think's going to win? What do you want to win?
I think Overcooked.
What do you want?
Overcooked is such a good fucking multiplayer game. What do I want to win?
Mm-hmm.
Mario Party. Okay. But I'm always going to vote for Mario, man. He's my boy. I grew up with that guy. But I think Overcooked is just a much more intense, fun experience, and it got an assload more exposure on YouTube. A lot more people got into it, I think. I think Mario Party is, you got the diehards jumping in, but I don't think that it dropped and just made a shitload of noise, whereas Overcooked has been everywhere, and every YouTuber you saw playing it had just a fuck ton load of fun. So
yeah, all right.
And it's not an easy game. Like, you got I think, what is it? You can get up to 4 people in the kitchen at the same time, and you're racing against time to try and you have to communicate with each other because you're all doing different shit. So
yeah, I think Super Mario Party will take it. I haven't played Overcooked 2. So I'll go for Super Mario Party for both. Next, we have Best Strategy Game. Best game focused on real-time or turn-based strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform. I don't know why I have to keep saying that. The Banner Saga 3, Battletech,
that's good.
Frostpunk, Into the Breach, and Valkyria Chronicles 4.
Oh, fuck you.
So what do you think is going to win? What do you want to win?
Damn it.
Yeah, it's hard.
I already know Banner Saga is a really good game. All 3 of them are really good games. Battletech is always super ridiculous amounts of fun, and it's the premier mech strategy game. It always has been. And Valkyria Chronicles 4 is just perfection. It's always been a top tier strategy game, but it also does a good job of like writing in a really passionate plot and giving you really great characters to care about. This is hard for me because I've been a lifelong fan of BattleTech since I was a kid. But I'm going to have to say, more than likely, Banner Saga will take it because Valkyria Chronicles has been out of the limelight for a long time, and even when it was in the limelight, it's always been more of a niche title. It's always been more of a weeb RTS kind of thing. It's true. People who watch anime and love Japanese style games are the ones that play Valkyria Chronicles. You don't really see that pick up a shitload of noise from people who just love RTSs in general. That's not where it's known. That's not where it's famous. So I think Banner Saga will take it, and I want to see, as much as I love BattleTech, I want to see Valkyria Chronicles get some love. Because every Valkyria Chronicles, except for, I want to say, the second or third one that went with a straight action bent, which had the same great story, but ended up being less intense because it didn't have the real-time strategy. It was kind of a run and gun strategic action game more than RTS. So I definitely want to see Valkyria Chronicles get its crown back, because that is a tremendously good game series, and it deserves some love. And that also means that I need to get that special edition of the third one before they fucking win an award, if they do, because that means that price is going to go up. But I definitely want to see Valkyria Chronicles win. But Banner Saga has done nothing but get good press from day one. With the first game, the second game, it's always done extremely well. Like, it always gets a ton of love. It's a critical darling, and I think that the awards are probably going to see it the same way. But if I had a choice, it would definitely be Valkyria, because that shit is just fire.
Okay, I haven't heard or played any of these games, so I'm gonna pick the Weeb game.
Banner Saga is it's beautiful. It's really, really pretty. It's all hand drawn.
I see that in the picture. Really... I'm picking the Weeb game, though. All right, Valkyria Chronicles 4 is my choice. Next game, we got Best Sports/Racing Game. We're slowly moving into the awards that no one gives a fat shit about. For the best traditional and non-traditional sports and racing games, we have FIFA 19, Forza Horizon 4, Mario Tennis Aces, NBA 2K19, Pro Evolution Soccer 2019.
Wow, all of that eats my ass. I'm going to go with Mario Tennis because fuck everything else.
Okay. I'm going to go with Forza. I think Forza might win. I haven't played Mario, but I heard 2K19 got shit on. I think 2K19 got shit on. I'm going to go for Forza for both of mine. All right. Next, we have Bulls Multi.
I don't think any of the EA Sports games deserve love.
We have Best Multi... Are you good?
Yeah, I was just going to say that's probably due to my vehemence against EA and Activision.
Next, we have Best Multiplayer Game for outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre. We have Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Destiny 2, Fortnite, Monster Hunter World, Sea of Thieves. What do we think is going to win? What do you want to win?
Monster Hunter World. Oh, shit. What do I think will win?
Yeah.
Best multiplayer game, I think Fortnite will win. I want Monster Hunter to win.
I'm the exact same. I think either Fortnite or
Monster Hunter is made of nothing but multiplayer joy, and when I was able to play with you guys, I had nothing but fun, and I still would like to go back in and play with you guys. But I think Fortnite is just too much of a juggernaut to lose.
Oh yeah, no,
it's not a. It's a favorites game, so it's not like they're voting off of actual merit necessarily.
Well, they have a panel too, but like in regards to this, if it's just revolving around multiplayer, I could easily see Fortnite getting it. But I want Monster Hunter to get it. I think Monster Hunter was something special. Next, we have Best Student Game.
I don't want to go play that now.
We have Best Student Game, awarded the best student project created. Sorry, I kicked something by accident. The best student project created at a high school or college level. We have Combat 2018 from Inland Norway University of Applied Sciences, Dash Quasar from UC Santa Cruz, Jera from DigiPen Bilbao, it's in Spain. And we have LIF, LIFF from IceArt Digital, and RainShard from MIT.
I don't know how I'm supposed to remark on any of that.
I don't know either. Jera.
I'm gonna go with just because it reminds me of Subaru.
Okay, cool. So RainShard from MIT. I'm gonna go with Jera because its picture here looks cool.
Like, I love how both of us have the most valid ideas for voting on this. I'm voting for it because it reminds me of an anime. I'm voting for it because the picture's cool.
Yeah.
I
mean, what else can you say here? I haven't played any of these. So next, we have Best Debut Indie Game, recognizing a new independent studio that released its first game in 2018. Winner selected by fan voting. So this one doesn't have a panel. We have Donut County, Florence, Moss, The Messenger, and Yoku's Island Express.
I like the sound of Yoku's Island Express.
Nice. I think I've heard a lot of good things about The Messenger, and it's basically just Ninja Gaiden, but reimagined.
Oh, fuck that. I'm changing my tune then.
Okay. So, The Messenger then?
Go with The Messenger,
I think Ninja The Messenger too. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think it might be on console. I recommend checking it out. Next, we have Best Esports Game for the game that has delivered the best overall esports experience to players, inclusive of tournaments, community support, and content updates, irrespective of genre or platform. We have CSGO, Dota 2, Fortnite, League of Legends, and Overwatch. What do you think's going to win? What do you want to win?
Fortnite, League of Legends, CSGO, and Overwatch.
And Dota 2. Which is like League, but from Valve.
Well, I'm not supporting Valve because they fucked off against Half-Life. And I'm not supporting Blizzard because... Can I not vote?
You can vote for League of Legends. Because fuck yeah.
Oh, if that's up there, I'll vote for League of Legends. Yeah, fuck that. Because they got some sexy-ass characters.
I can fap to this. I think this year Fortnite will probably take this just because it's here and it's Fortnite. But I actually will. It's in regards to esports. So if the panel of judges is smart, it'd be League over. I don't even know about Overwatch. It'd be like League, Overwatch, or Dota or CS:GO, something along those lines. I don't think they'd pick Fortnite because they haven't really done a hell of a lot for esports. I know they've had some tournaments, but they're still trying to establish themselves. I don't think in this year they've done enough to warrant it. I know they're going against Titans in regards to the esports community, but I love League to death, and I don't care how many times it has won. I'd vote for it again because it's such a phenomenal game, and every year they kind of
and they don't seem to step on their fucking fans either.
Yeah, for the most part.
From what you've told me.
Yeah. And even though I vote for it because I love it, every year I think it does enough to revalidate my reason for voting for it for that year. There hasn't been a year where I've gone and been like, oh, well, they didn't really do that much this year. But no, every year I think they still managed to win this award fairly. It's not just because I love the game, but I think they do enough in the esports community to bring it to that degree. That's why I love League. So I'd pick League. I think Fortnite might win. I hope it doesn't, but I'm going to pick League for what I want to win.
Yeah, Fortnite will win, but I want League to win, mostly just support you, because I love you.
I love you too.
Because I don't fucking play that shit.
All right, next we have Best Esports Player. This is the esports player judged to be the most outstanding performer in 2018, irrespective of game.
If anybody votes for Ninja, you need to be kicked in the nuts. He's not that funny.
He's not an esports player. We have Dominique Sonic Fox McLean, Hajime Tokaido Taniguchi, Gian Uzi Zhao. I love Uzi, and I love Sonic Fox. Alexander Simple.
Are any of them female?
Kostiliev, no. Sung Hyun.
What? Really?
JJO Nak Bang. He's part of it, the Overwatch.
Thailand.
All right.
I'm voting for the Japanese guy.
Is it? Oh yeah. Okay. Taniguchi. Yeah. He's a fighting game player. I'm pretty sure. I don't know what fighting game he plays. I love Sonic Fox though. He's such an entertaining dude to watch, and he's so fucking good at fighting games. It's insane. I was watching him actually play in a Soul Calibur tournament, and he was beating ass. I love him. I also really love Uzi, too. I think overall he's just a super awesome dude. The rest of these guys I don't really know, and I don't watch Overwatch League because that's for gay. So who I think might win, Overwatch League's pretty big. It might be that dude, JJO Knack. But I want Sonic Fox. I'll go with Sonic Fox, although I love Uzi. Next, we have Best Esports Team. We have Astralis for CSGO, Cloud9 for League of Legends, Fnatic for League of Legends, London Spitfire for Overwatch League, and OG for Dota 2. Do you have anything in regards to this, like for this award?
Well, what was the question?
It's Best Esports Team.
Do any of them have high picks?
No, they're all dudes.
Are any of them weeby?
I love how almost the entire London team for fucking Overwatch, they are all Asian, and they all have the exact same haircut. What the fuck? I'm saving.
Yeah, but most of your Overwatch teams were imported.
Oh, I'm saving this picture. It's beautiful. I don't know. Just pick one, bro. Astralis, Cloud9, Fnatic, London Spitfire, OG.
Astralis.
Okay. I like Fnatic a lot. I really like them. I think they're super cool. They're a League of Legends team, but Cloud9's cool as well. And Shroud's on Cloud9, and I think he's a cool streamer. I'm gonna go with Fnatic though. Who do I think will win? I have no idea. Maybe the Overwatch guys, because Overwatch is pretty big. Best esports coach, holy shit. We have Bach Reaperd, Han Gu, Christian Papazerol, I don't even know how to say that last name, Danny Zonic Sorensen, Dylan Falco, Jacob Yamato Cannon Medby, at Janko Yink Punovic.
Do I have to answer all of these? Like, I mean,
No.
obviously, you're not.
No. Yeah.
We can skip the. Don't.
I'm gonna pick Dylan Falco. I like that name. All right. This one I actually give a shit about. Next is best esports event. We have E-League Major, Boston 2018, EVO 2018, the fighting game tournament, League of Legends World Championship, Overwatch League Grand Finale, and the International, which is the Dota 2 Championship. I love EVO, bro. I fucking adore EVO. I'm gonna have to vote for EVO. I just love the community surrounding EVO, the upset surrounding EVO, and although that happens in every other esports, it's just so cool when it's in fighting games and seeing that shit. I love EVO, so I'd have to go with EVO. What do you think?
I'm gonna say whatever you say.
Okay, EVO. I think you'd like EVO too. I would love to go to EVO one year.
Wait, is that the one in Texas?
I think so. I don't know if it moves. I've never been.
They do it's a fighting game tournament, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do a fighting game tournament in Texas every year. I'd like to go to the whatever one that they play the most variety.
EVO's in Las Vegas.
And also the one where they don't fucking give a lot of love to the most recent Street Fighter because it's garbage when it comes to competition.
EVO's got everything from Smash to Street Fighter to Soul Calibur to Injustice. They do everything.
Street Fighter 4 is a much better competitive game than the new.
They still have at EVO. They still have Smash Melee, like the GameCube Smash tournaments, and people.
Yeah,
even the 64 stuff
for sure.
I love EVO, bro. It's awesome. Best esports host. I don't know any of these people. One's a woman though, so I'm gonna vote for her. Ifisajos Deportere. I don't know. Best esports moment. Don't know any of this, but I'm gonna vote for the League of Legends one. Why not?
Is there one for Street Fighter?
Yeah, the Evo one, but that event was in DBZ.
Oh fuck it, I'm going with that one.
Okay. Now we have content creator.
I'm picking like the two choices like we're going because I'm way out of my wheelhouse. So I'm just giving you the one answer.
These, bro. Yeah, content creator of the year. We have Dr. Lupo, Myth, Ninja, Pokimane, Willy Rex, and Willy Rex.
Myth.
Have you seen Pokimane? Because this might change your opinion.
Myth, because I've seen Myth.
This might change your opinion. Let me show you Pokimane. I love Pokimane.
You want to break the podcast? It's already running over long, so I can watch Pokimane.
No. All you gotta do is look at your phone. Okay. Oh my god, dude! What did I stumble across here?
And the rabbit hole begins.
No, we're good. I just need to give you a good.
Are you putting it in Anime Thighs? Or are you putting it in the
No, it's gonna be in the one we're in our chat right now. Yeah, I can't show this to the other guys. All right, here. That's Pokimane.
Pokimane it is. She's on YouTube? We're going to YouTube right now. How do you spell that?
Pokimane. She even does an ASMR channel, bro. You best believe I'm all that freaky shit.
Pokimane. Pokimane. Dude, the second search in YouTube is Pokimane space THICC. Oh, I'm already subscribed to her. Apparently, I already like her and just didn't know it.
Oh my god. It's beautiful. So that's the last one.
Yeah.
I think Ninja's...
Yeah, I want to get her pregnant.
I think Ninja's going to get it, but I love Pokimane.
Fuck Ninja.
I'm going to vote for Pokimane.
Ninja's a good player, I guess. I mean, he's pretty opportunistic with how he plays and when he plays, but he's a good player. I just don't care, and I don't care about Fortnite.
One dude I wish was on here is Tim the Tatman.
His wife is hot.
Tim the Tatman's an awesome dude. I love him. Just overall, he's like as much of a player of the game as he is a entertainer, and he manages to do that while keeping his stream pretty much children friendly, which I think is really cool. So I love Tim the Tatman. He's awesome. All right.
I'll show him some love too, but fucking Pokemon gets my vote. My vote.
Yeah, he's not on here, unfortunately. I wish he was. I'd vote for his ass. All right. So, it's crazy.
Sorry, Myth.
Three of these people on this list are Fortnite streamers. I don't even know who Willie Rex is, but all right. That's
just to show actors some love, we should like do a write-in or something like my favorite streamer is Hector.
Avoid Mateo.
Yeah, he's amazing, but don't avoid him.
Oh, all right. So that was our Game of the Year discussion, our predictions. That's what we think. Let us know what you guys think. Hit us up what you think Game of the Year might be. You don't have to do it for every category, obviously. Just the more important ones. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, you saw how fun things got when we tried to force every category. I do not suggest you do this.
Got to the boring stuff, yeah. So that's that.
Pokemon's not boring, though. Watch her stuff, support her, and give her my number.
She does ASMR, if you're into that. Have a pretty lady talk to you in this quiet voice.
She wants to.
All right.
She could be like, I torture small orphan children. I'm like, that's okay, babe.
All right. So that will wrap up episode 75 of the Thought Patrol podcast. Again, let us know what you guys think for Game of the Year. Hit us up. Discord, Twitter. Any way that is comfortable with you. We'll be there. And we just love to hear from you guys. So we're going to call that wraps. Shawn, you know what time it is.
That time, hugs and kisses on your pink pots.
Beautiful, bro. All right. And before we go, I shall leave you all with a thought. If you yelled for 8 years, 7 months, and 6 days, you would have enough energy produced from your voice to heat 1 cup of coffee.